Hello to you, Kokiro.
Danielira.
How are you?
How are you, Danielira?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Very good. We had a great night's sleep.
Oh, terrible night's sleep.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
What?
Chili is still a bit congested.
Yeah, a
So
lot of it.
she snorts.
Snorts.
¿Cómo se dice? Ronca.
Snore.
Snores.
Yeah, snorts.
Snorts.
I know she's a Colombian dog, but you could stop with that, okay?
No, but she also
Stop with the
snorts.
stereotype.
Snorts mucus.
Stop with the stereotypes.
Mucus. So
Jesus Christ.
she snores. She was snorting a lot. So we were sleeping with her,
Yeah?
and I think she just lays on her back so she can't breathe
Yeah.
that well. So she starts snoring,
Yeah, it's
Or
pretty
like-
terrible.
choking in mucus, because that's what happened.
Choking in mucus. Nice. We could stop the live here.
That's what happened at
To Hendrix.
the beginning of the night,
Mm-hmm.
because she was like choking a little bit, like not choking, but like coughing and yeah. So it was not a good night.
No.
Then I hold her, and every time she snorted out, I would just like autopilot move my elbow up
Yeah.
so she could like readjust herself and breathe better. Think you tried it? You tried to adjust her?
No.
No, you were just like trying to sleep.
Yeah. No, I
maybe.
had her for like, I don't know. I don't know how long. But her snoring was just too much.
Yeah, you were like, take her. You
Yeah.
take her.
So I tried like just shuffling her a little bit to see if it would stop. But no. So after a couple of hours I was like, no, just you take her.
I would say a couple of hours is being super generous. It wasn't a couple of hours. I don't think.
I know it was.
I think maybe an
And
hour.
you know how I know it was? Because you were so asleep.
Oh, I was sleeping, but
Oh,
then
I
I was
know.
sleeping too. I
What's
was
that?
just like afterwards when I was holding her, I was sleeping too.
I
It
know.
was interrupted sleep, but I was sleeping.
I know. But I don't have interrupted sleep.
Oh,
I just
no.
have interrupted.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't sleep. Like everything wakes me up, and I've been like that forever. So I just don't. I don't know. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
So
but I think
no, it was a long time.
yeah, no. I was joking, but also I think I kind of got I knew how to adjust her
Yeah.
so we could sleep a little bit better, but it wasn't great
No. I think
because she was like, and
So-
then I moved her.
so
No, it
you
wasn't
can-
like kicking
so you
her.
can
I was
sleep.
just like,
You can sleep through snoring, which is crazy, because when you took her, when I gave her to you, she kept snoring like absurd, and then because I realized how you guys were sleeping because I moved my hand and I felt Chili, and I was like, oh, so Chili's like between us, like facing me. Thank you.
no, but
Um,
then I moved her because
yeah.
then she was in the other
Right.
arm, and I think that's when she stopped.
So I started like shoving Chili a little bit to see if she would stop. She didn't stop. So then I started pushing you, and you wouldn't wake up. And I was like, Linda, and nothing. I had to like actually push you and talk pretty loud. And I was like, could you just move her, prop her up so that she doesn't snore? And then you found a position that is like, I thought she was dead. Because after hearing like, for hours snoring, suddenly it's all silent.
Yeah.
So you were asleep for sure.
You know what
and then
I
she
did?
was asleep. And now I'm thinking they both died.
No, because I had to grab the pillow, another pillow, like a throw pillow,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it so I was like sitting, not completely like laying down, but a little
Oh,
bit
okay.
more. And I had my arm, and I realized that she tends to just put her head down. So her body is going to be up and her head down. Like she loves to be
Yeah.
like in a weird position, but
yeah, like
if
her
she
head
lays-
dangling.
exactly. But if she does that,
Oh, she's gonna
she's gonna
snore.
snore. Yeah, because she
Yeah.
can't breathe that well right now. So I put her head here in my
Yeah.
elbow, in my elbow.
Yep.
No,
That's a
in
shoulder.
my shoulder.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. And you're like, yeah, your
Because
elbow.
I wasn't looking.
Your upper elbow.
Yeah, your knee. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
in my
Your
shoulder.
niece.
And I would, like, I adjusted her so her little butt was in the bed. So she would be sitting.
Okay.
So that's why when I moved my shoulder, not my elbow, but my shoulder, I
Mhm.
could like roll her down to the elbow again.
Yeah, this is sounding like a wrestling move.
So
Like-
she could, to the shoulder again.
Okay. To
So
the
she
knee.
could sleep better.
Knee to the face.
So, yeah.
Well,
To
yeah.
the elbow again. No, never mind. We had a terrible night's sleep.
Great. Yeah.
So that's the excuse for my
It's a good
elbow,
one.
shoulder.
Yeah, we got to dance
confusion. We gotta dance.
head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
yeah.
Yeah. That before every live. Yeah, but it was tough. It was tough. I'm hoping that she gets a little bit better.
Because in the day she is good. That's the thing. No?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're doing stuff, so it's not as if you feel Chily just, not letting you do stuff or but at night where I told you, like, I honestly need about 4 hours of sleep. I know myself, and I think 4 hours, like, in my life, I've always noticed that if I get 4 hours of rest, I'm really good. I'm fine. I don't need a lot of rest.
Oh no, I need it at least twice.
14 days. Yeah.
At least twice.
Yeah.
I mean, at least 8
Yeah.
hours.
But I don't know why I've always managed to just feel okay with little sleep. But I need the 4 hours like straight. That's all I ask. Like, I need to put my head down. I'll go immediately to sleep because that's how I am.
Yeah.
And then if you wake me up 4 hours later, I'm like, I'm good. I'm good to go. Like,
Oh,
let's
no, I
start
can't.
let's start the day. But what I can't do is like sleep an hour and then not sleep for 2 hours and then sleep 5 minutes and then not sleep for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
That is very difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what our night looked like last night, I feel. So
Yeah.
I mean, she's sick, so and I honestly thought she was gonna get better quicker,
No.
but this seems to be a little more sensitive than we initially thought.
Yeah, and I also read about how the flu in dogs
Yeah,
can take about 20 days.
Jesus
To cure.
Christ.
So, I mean, it could take a week, but it could also take 20 days.
Okay,
So that's like a normal.
so a week is not happening.
Oh,
well,
no. Already
actually-
it didn't happen.
Yeah, when did it start?
Well, we took her to the vet last Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's been a tough week.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's been a tough week.
But I have to say, even
Mhm.
though it was a terrible night, she's been getting better.
A little bit.
Yeah. At least she has energy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last night she was a little psycho. She was just running like crazy, which is good. It's a good thing.
Last night before sleep, yeah. Well, it wasn't even night. It was like 6 p.m., but that's night for
That's
us.
night for me.
Yeah, so
It's dark outside.
night.
You better go to bed. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it. That was our night.
Yeah. Great.
How did you guys sleep? Was it better? Did you had another chili? Because also like a chili snoring
A chili
near
snort.
to you so you couldn't sleep. The thing is that we don't snore.
No.
I am like a mommy.
Yeah.
I just like lay
Lie da-
down
Yeah.
and then I just wake up.
Yeah.
Like I don't move, I don't breathe.
The closest thing to how I imagine like a vampire, how like Dracula sleeps. I think so.
Yeah.
I think you would be super like if there was somebody suited for like a coffin for sleeping, I think it would be you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very comfortable, I
Yeah.
would say. We should look into that. Who knows?
Well, or
Maybe the best night of your life. Of the rest of your
no,
life.
thank you.
Of
Well,
your
you could try it if
afterlife.
you want to.
No, I know I can't. But
Mm.
I'm pretty sure you
No,
can.
you move a lot,
I'm pretty sure.
which I'm good with because I have a good sleep. So,
Yeah.
you know what happens to me? You move and I'm like, oh, he's dreaming. And then I go to sleep again. But when I move, if I move, you just wake up. And that's like you just call it a night.
Yeah.
It's like that's it. For
I guess
you.
we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you were like, you must have been like Nefertiti. Do you believe in that? After like, that you were somebody else?
You know, I don't believe in anything, but I do believe in anything, in everything. So
Okay.
I'm open
That's
to.
we can stop now.
No,
Then.
I was.
What
trying to
does that
say-
mean?
I was trying to say that I'm open to
You're
like investigating about lots of
you're agnostic
believe-
everything.
like belief systems,
Okay.
and I don't believe them, but I'm happy to believe them as I'm talking about them
You'll
for a bit.
entertain them.
Exactly.
Entertain them.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's entertainment because I know that that's
No.
like-
Entertaining something means like, okay, let me take this
Like I would
seriously for a little
role
bit.
play the idea
Okay.
of that being true
Okay.
to see if I really believe or not in it. But it's funny because, for example, I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm scared of them. So I think I believe in them.
That pretty much sums
And if
you up.
tell
I
me,
feel.
Exactly. That's why I
Yeah.
was saying I don't believe in anything, but I do believe in everything at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I thought you were saying something ridiculous,
but now it makes sense.
but now that you just described the ghost thing, yes, 100%. That's
yeah,
you.
that's me.
100%.
And you can tell me, oh, there's a zombie rat, and people believe in zombie rats, and I'm like, oh, I don't believe in that. But if you tell me that it can come and haunt me, I'm gonna be terrified. So yeah.
Yeah. No.
But why? Because you thought I was Nefertiti? No. Like I could be.
I have a feeling that you were a mummy. Like you were mummified in some way.
Well, yeah, because I wouldn't be a mummy. I would be dead and then
daddy.
become a mummy.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't be a daddy.
A daddy.
No,
A mummy.
you would move a lot, so you can't.
I don't know. We should look into that.
What? Because also no, because
Is
I mean-
mummifying legal?
I guess so.
If I leave it in my will,
Oh, I'm not gonna do it. Where?
what?
Where I'm gonna mummify you? Where am I?
There should be places in the world that mummify people. No?
Well, I guess.
Oh, please,
yes,
could you
but
search for that? And how much is that just to see how much I have to start saving? Could you put me in the corner, like of your house?
no.
Okay, in the middle of like the living room then. With like a
course not.
tray. You know those like those statues, those little
So, there is currently one company in the world that offers mummification.
Yes, where do we have to go? Where do you
Let
have
you
to take me?
decide how legit it is,
Uh-huh.
but we wouldn't recommend it.
Why not?
So it is in the U.S.
It
this
is?
place? Well, but I guess there's other places.
I'm pretty sure.
Um,
Some black market mummification. I'd go for that. I mean, you have
some
to go.
villagers in Papua New Guinea.
Oh, we know somebody in New Guinea, so
Yeah.
we're good. We're connected.
Well, I think they're no longer there,
No,
but they were
it's
there.
a shame.
So
By the way, best honey, I would say,
ever,
in the world
yeah,
from New Guinea.
it was so good.
I know this sounds arbitrary. Trust me, I've tasted a lot of honey. I think it's the best honey
Oh, it
ever.
was so good.
We have really good honey here
Yeah.
in Colombia. I hate to say it, that honey was better.
Yeah, that was so
Very good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So after that death, bodies are placed in a hut and smoked until the skin
oof.
and internal organs are desiccated.
Uh-huh.
Then they're covered in red clay, which helps maintain the structural integrity, and placed in a jungle shrine.
Shrine.
Shrine, what's that? Jungle shrine?
I guess they build like a little shrine.
¿Qué? Pero pues, ¿qué shrine, mi amor? Esa es la
Oh.
pregunta.
Like, ¿cómo se traduce shrine? Como un trono?
Shrine.
Well, not a throne.
A holy or sacred place dedicated to a specific
Yeah.
ancestor hero.
Es como, tú has visto ¿cómo se llama si le tienes algo a la Virgen o al...
¿Altar?
Como un altarcito. Sí.
Because I looked for it and it's this.
Yeah. Well, but that's, I'm guessing it's not quite that.
Well, of course not.
Well,
I
there's
mean, it's
different
not
types
like...
of shrines. Yeah.
Mm,
Is a shrine not an altar? I've always thought it's like an altar. Yeah. No? Is it very different?
so, shrines often contain idols,
Okay.
relics, or other such objects associated with figure being venerated.
Okay.
A shrine at which votive,
What?
V pequeña O T y V pequeña E. Votive?
Oh, I don't-
Votive. Oh, del voto.
Oh.
You just give votive.
Votive? Oh,
Well, but I
didn't
mean,
know-
in my defense,
I've
you had
never
no
used that
idea.
word.
Yeah.
I've never ever used that word.
Votive offerings are made is called an
Votive,
altar.
I would say
Votive.
Yeah.
A shrine at which votive offerings
Yeah.
are made is called an altar. So it is. So,
Okay, there we go.
yeah. So every altar is a shrine, but not every shrine is an
There
altar.
we go. Perfect.
So,
Okay, so you don't have to put me on a shrine. I think that's a
oh,
little
I'm going
too
to
much.
give you votives.
Well, that could be nice.
So, and are you going to do the same for me if I go first?
No, are you crazy? What?
So then I'm not going to do it for you.
What are you
You
talking
can
about?
mummify me. I'm super easy to carry around. So you can be like, you can tell the movers, oh, just
Just drag her.
no, put her in the living room.
Yeah,
in the
just
middle.
drag her. Drag her across the room.
Let Chily lick her little fingers. She
Oh
loved
my
that.
god.
Mm,
Chili, you smell like mummy again.
so
Wait, but I do wonder if is it legal? Like, can you have a mummified person in your house? Let's say, I don't know here, but let's say in the United States. I'm curious. Can you have like a mummified relative or like stuffed relative, like desiccated? Is that the same thing?
no,
Disecari.
no, because I think the process is different.
No, not that to mummified, but could you have either or, like a mummy, or
I don't think you can
like a
desiccate
stuffed?
person.
Can you have a
like-
stuffed human being?
No,
Why not? I mean, you're talking like it's really weird,
well it is.
but we cremate people and we bury them on the ground. What's the difference? Because we can't see them.
This is interesting.
Okay.
No, it's not about that. Well, it's
Oh,
kind of, but
Okay. Thank. What
is
what
a
you-
mommy a person?
Cats can actually play the piano.
Is a mommy a person or a property? Conflict of laws.
Ooh.
Very interesting.
Because you cease to be like if there's no legal issues with your death, can you like why can you be? Why is it okay to have remains, like to have ashes, but why would it not be okay to just have like this body there? Why is it fine for a body to be in a box underground, which is not like it's not as if that's like super like salubrio, ¿cómo se dice? Salubri.
hygienic? I don't
Yeah,
know how to say
hygienic
it,
or
but-
something. I mean, you're rotting under the earth. So at least this way you're not rotting. I don't know. Like I'm thinking about this. I mean, it's morbid, but why would it be weird?
Well, I think it's. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't like to see
That's
like your rot, like
right,
your
but that's one thing.
carcass.
Right, but you know, the fact that people would say, "Oh my god, that's horrible." It's like that's not a reason.
Well, it says so here they're talking about embalming,
Okay.
and they're saying modern embalming is generally thought To have started during the Civil War period, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
but embalming is what they do for every dead person.
No, embalsamar es distinto.
Embalsamar es lo que le hace, como
No, porque es
preparan a
para
los cuerpos.
preservar el cuerpo.
No, well, that's what they do.
No.
Right, yeah, because if they don't do that, yeah, embalming is what you get in every funeral
Oh,
home.
yeah.
Yeah, embalming is normal. I wonder, is there legal issues? Like,
I don't know. I couldn't find anything. I mean,
is there a moral? Is that like a moral thing?
I found some information, but it was like, to my knowledge, it's not illegal. But I mean, I don't have like a place that says yes it is or no it's not, and the law says blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, take like Joel Peter Whitkin. I think the only reason he went to, if I'm not mistaken, to New Mexico, and then he went to Mexico, and then he was here, by the way, in Colombia, is because he could go to like small cemeteries and say, I need a body of like an unknown person, like a John Doe, Jane Doe, like a body that nobody has claimed, and that, you know, they can use, like institutions could use for academic purposes, of course, but he was able to get bodies in New Mexico. He was able to get bodies in Mexico, and he was able to get bodies here because he probably paid. You know, I've never quite read how illegal the way in which he gets his bodies is, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal. Like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't get all his bodies legally.
so I found in the Independent,
Okay.
it says now you can be mummified just like the Egyptians. So I guess it's legal, and I guess that they're gonna say
walk like an Egyptian. Thank you.
yeah. So it says. Let me get to the.
Yeah, but mummified doesn't quite answer my question, because mummified means that they can just mummify you and put you underground, which is what they do with everyone if you wanted to get buried. So, whatever. I mean, you're either going to rot or you're not. That would be a nice slogan. You're either going to rot or you're not.
I'm sorry, I was paying attention, but it could have been a better joke, but I was reading and paying attention.
Yeah, sorry.
So I was not.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm asking. Like, I'm asking if you could have like a stuffed person that was your relative in your living room. You know?
Well, I mean,
it's like, oh yeah, that's my great grandmother.
I guess there's maybe complications in different countries, because I don't know if you remember that place where they take all the death out of the tombs.
Yeah. Every year, right?
Every year for a celebration.
Right, right.
So
yeah,
they
put clothes.
Yeah, and they like
they
carry them around. So it's
they
like
party with them pretty much, like Weekend at Bernie's, 100%. So yeah, but that's there.
That's why I was saying.
So
I don't know.
people would be like, "Oh no, that's like, you know, their culture."
Yeah, but I don't know
like,
if here.
But I would love to know if, you know, in a you know, somewhere where you don't just say, "Oh, that's like an indigenous tribe thing, so we have to respect that."
So this is a Quora answer. So that's why I was saying that I'm getting like iffy answers.
Yeah,
but
I don't trust those entirely, but
it says mummification is legal, as to my understanding. It is not banned in India, Europe, and USA. There's a company by the name Summum based in Salt Lake City, Utah.
We gotta ask Rosalind.
Which deals in mummification of dead bodies, and they have made mummies of pets like dogs, cats, peacocks, and rats.
Okay,
apart from humans.
That's a strange group. I don't know why.
To my understanding, the only reason it's not popular is because it is too expensive.
It must be expensive.
Let's assume that you want your cat to be mummified. It would cost you around.
Let me see. How much do I? I'm probably. How many cats am I? About 10.
Wait.
No, about 7 cats.
No, because they're saying in rupees. So in the
Oh,
Indian.
in India.
I'm gonna
but
do
give
the-
me give me a conversion.
Oh, well, give me a second, and I will. Nicolachin.
Oh, Danny, you're so doing this. You're so stuck with me as a mummy.
No, because I'm gonna go first, maybe.
Stuff me in like a super cool pose.
No, I don't want to
like
think about
something,
that. No, I'm
something
sorry.
majestic.
So if you want to
Or
get your cat
something super
mummified,
ordinary.
it would cost you around 370 1,800 rupees.
Okay,
So
which
that
is?
is $4,488
Oh, dude, and
for a cat.
that's a cat. I'm about 7 cats, I would say. 8.
And it says for yourself, you might end
40,000.
up paying
40,000. I'm gonna say
50,000.
50 grand. Fuck me, that's
So
a
no.
lot. You don't love me 50,000?
I don't have 50,000. So
What if I come up with the 50,000?
well, if you want to do that, yeah, but then I would. I don't know.
Could you stuff me like making some tea? Maybe that's a nice pose. Just like standing there, like
No.
you know,
Mm-mm.
just
No, and I would
staring
not
some like
carry
tea.
your body around because
Well, you
I
don't
think.
have to carry me. I'm like there making
No,
tea. I mean,
no,
just let
'cause-
me finish my tea.
I mean, I think because of the way I see death
Yeah.
and how I like accidentally understand death.
I like
Why
that.
are you?
Accidentally understand death.
I feel that would not help my grieving process at
Or-
all.
Or it could like
No.
1,000% help you.
No, you know me. I'm very attached, so I think that I would never be able to.
How? I mean, this is like the pinnacle of attachment. You never let me go. I'm like making
Well, that's
tea.
why it's terrible because my life is going on, but you're still there, but you're not.
Oh
really
no!
there.
Oh, please date somebody else. You know, I'm giving you full permission.
No,
Just
I'm
turn
not
me
talking
around.
about dating.
Turn
I'm talking
me
about
around.
living.
When Bruce comes in, turn me around, or introduce me, and I'll be fine. I'll be like, I'm making tea. You guys
No.
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
no. So maybe
I'm
you
totally
can do
fine
that
here
with
in the
me if you
kitchen.
want, but I'm not gonna do it.
Oh
with you.
come on! My one wish. Really?
Your one
One
wish is
wish.
50K. I don't
Oh,
have
that is.
50K.
I'm sure other people have like way more expensive.
And
And I'm gonna take care of it. I promise you.
And the
I'll
money that
I'll
I
start
need to
saving money.
travel there and to travel the
I'll save the money.
stuffed human back home
Oh, that's how you see me, like a stuffed human.
because I don't want
That's
to see you.
horrible. Is that way? That's super nice objectification, Danny.
No, because I don't want.
Jesus
Because I
Christ.
wouldn't want to understand you as you because you're no longer here. So it wouldn't be good for me
You
to
can talk
think
to
that
me.
you. No, that's
You could
terrible.
be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I know you're making tea, but," and then you can tell me, you know, what's ailing you. Chile is like, you should. See? Okay. Well. By the way, I think I'm gonna draw. I'm only gonna draw today. So, what happened? Oh no! I want to paint this. But I don't think I'm gonna paint it today. I'm gonna begin painting it today.
So we
So
should say hi.
yeah,
an
we
hour
should.
into.
But I'm a little disappointed with you and with the vagity of the laws.
Vagary.
Oh, that's not a word. Vagueness, but I wish we had like a clear answer. Do you not think there's like one
I'm
people?
Sure. I'm sure there's
How
someone
many
that
people
has,
are in the U.S.? 350 million.
I'm sure that there's someone that has their relative in the living room.
I am 100. Well, I would say tens of millions of people have their relative remains.
Yeah, but in a as in ash.
Right, but they are the remains. So what we're fighting with is like the definition of remains.
And the body, I feel like the bodiness of the
Wait,
body.
wait a second.
The-
Why is it fine for the church to call those things what are they called? Like the pieces of ears from saints and hair
Oh
and
no,
bones.
that's terrible.
What are they called?
I forgot.
Oh, for God's sakes. What is No, you said art like altars have blah blah blah. Blah. You said the word when you were looking at the difference between altars and relics.
Relics, yeah.
So why is it okay? Like church has relics. They're like, yeah, this is the pinky of the saint, which actually spoke about how this poor saint was like dismembered and like spread throughout tons of churches throughout like Europe. They're fine. I still remember when I went to school, we had an altar in like our church had two altars. It had like a chapel and then the bigger altar. And when they took us to the altar, they showed us something that the altar had like a little square on the stone, and the priest like opened it up. There was nothing there. It was like empty.
Okay.
But he was like, no, there's altars that have like, and I remember him saying like they have like an ear. And I was like,
Well, we
what the
saw
fuck?
them.
Yeah, we saw like bones and stuff. Like bones are super
No, we
normal.
saw a
Hair,
finger.
we saw fingers.
Hair, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
what else.
hairs and fingers and bones and those are expected, I guess.
Like
Those are
little
kind of
bones, but
strange.
we saw a finger,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah, so that's pretty messed. I mean, if you want to think about it as like, oh wow, that's pretty messed up. Yes. But then you're like, hey,
like it's.
I don't want like a
terrible, too.
finger. I respect my grandma so much that I'm not gonna chop her off into like a million pieces.
I don't like this
Like,
conversation.
why is it fine if you're a saint and you're like in a church, but if it's like a house, like if it's right near to your pool table, it's like, oh, this fucking psycho. That's a question. I'm sorry, but it's true.
So let's say hi.
Yes, on that note.
Wood Spirit 100 was saying hi. Hey, Wood Spirit 100. Prince Barebones was saying good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Prince Barebones. Rebecca Caridad was saying good morning, Danny and Nico.
Rebe Charity.
Rebecca, how are you? Rebe Charity.
Yeah.
Catherine Peremsky was saying hi, everyone. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Adriana Villegas dice, Oli, Adrianita.
Adrianita.
¿Qué tal? Creo que no habíamos tenido a Adrianita acá.
Creo
Pensé se
que
estaba
nunca.
tornando mi chilito. No.
Estaba
está
teniendo un
comiendo.
mini atore. Sí.
No, es que estaba tratando de sacar la comida del Kong. De pronto ahorita la ayudo porque creo que necesita ayuda. Javi Hav was saying, buenos días, good morning to all. Hola Javi Hav, how are you?
Okay, you got to do all of it.
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Always happy to have you. A ver, ¿qué más con? No sé.
What?
Estaba tratando de hacer otro juego de palabras con Javi Hav. Como, are you having half of that sandwich?
Are you having a good day? Are you having a
Nope.
good day?
No, because it's Javi Hav. Are you having half of
Have
that
you have
sandwich?
a good day today? Until today? Until this hour?
Rebecca Caridad was saying, when you're drawing, do you try and stay as light-handed as possible to begin?
Yes, because I'm very I already know I'm heavy-handed, and I already know that I miss a lot of my initial drawing. So I need to search for it constantly. So yes.
You know how I know that I'm super tired?
What's that?
Because I can feel, I don't know if that happens to you, but I can feel the skin around my eyes. Like
You
my
know.
under eyes all the time. Like every time I blink.
Yeah,
I
you know, when
feel
you're a
them.
mummy, you won't feel that. So it's a good thing.
Supratim Chowdhury was saying hello. Hey Supratim, how are you? Dane Schumacher was saying good morning. Does anyone have artist conversation podcast they would recommend? Something that isn't what paintbrushes do you like? More concept based would be preferred. Thank you.
Concept.
So
I'm sure there's like I'm sure there's some. I don't. To be honest, I don't follow any.
Well, I mean, you've been to some podcast. You've been
Yeah,
interviewed.
yeah. John
And it's-
Dalton, I would
Yeah,
say.
and I was gonna say, for example, in John Dalton, you
Yeah.
had a 6-hour conversation.
Yeah, John Dalton.
And it was a conversation not about what
it's
paint do
about
you
all
use,
of-
what
yeah,
brush
it's
do you
art.
use. It's
Yeah.
it's like broader than
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's recommend John. He's amazing, and buy him a cup of coffee, a cup of tea.
Yes, I was gonna say I was gonna self plug us with the conversations
That's-
we've had because
yeah,
there's
that's-
conversation. It's
Yeah.
not about.
Yeah, but that's not. That's
It's not a podcast.
Well, no, I was gonna say.
But now
it
that
doesn't
you're
look
here,
good. It doesn't look good.
maybe
So,
you could
don't,
check
we don't
those
need
out.
to plug ourselves. No.
No,
No, John Dalton. I'm gonna say it's
it's
probably
very
where you
good,
find
yeah.
the most complete conversations on art, and they go everywhere, and it's very interesting. And he's got tons of conversations, tons of artists. If you listen to one and you're enjoying it, please support him.
Yes, 100%. Ibrahim Salah was saying,
Mohamed
can you
Salah.
tell me about color relationship? How do you get it and how it works? Do
Oof.
you ask her out before the relationship? Bad joke.
Oh,
Let me
that
see.
was terrible,
Yeah.
Ibrahim.
Yeah.
Oh my God! As
Um,
bad as Salah is playing, was
Well,
that joke?
I think it was worst.
Oh Jesus
I'm
Christ!
sorry.
So
but
Ibrahim, what did Ibrahim ask? He's always with the loaded questions, loaded
can you
technical
tell me about
questions.
color relationship? How do you
Mm.
get it and how it works?
Oh, I wish it was like a short thing to answer, Ibrahim. I'm currently in my 8th week of our courses, our expressive color course.
Mhm.
And it has been really amazing. Our group has been fantastic, I feel. But what I'm getting to is that there's no way to answer that easily. Like, we have done so many different exercises with very specific intentions that push us in, the strangest of directions that have to do with colors, color apostrophe s, like colors, native attributes that I don't know if it's just a question that can be answered like succinctly. It's highly complex, and when put to use through art, it's very beautiful but very, very difficult. It's really fascinating, to be honest. But yeah, sadly it's not like can I have like, why do relationships work and why do some color relationships work and some don't?
Hmm.
Oof.
And it's not like you can just look in a chart
Right.
and say, okay, is this gonna work with this? Yes. Oh, but maybe this with this better. No. I mean, it's not like that.
It's not as easy as that.
No.
We were doing something, for example, where we would have to push accents. We would have to make accents. So let's say single instances of color that are that have some contrast, within your image. That's what we usually refer to as like an accent of something. So, there's super clear examples, but I was showing like a Corot painting, Corot, Corot.
Corona.
Yeah, I know. Corona. Where it's like a ton of foliage, and then there's this tiny little woman wearing like a red shawl or
Oh, and
like a
it
red
pops.
something, and it just
Of
pops
course,
like
yeah.
crazy. So you would think like, oh, that's a red accent in the middle of like, this sea of green that is contrast by complementaries, right? So I have a ton of green and this tiny little red dot. So of course the greenness is going to point to the red, and the red is going to point back to the greenness. But so, when you see those things, you tend to think, oh, every complementary color pushes every other, it's complementary. So every orange pushes a blue, any blue. The reality is that that's not true. Not every orange is like perfectly suited to balance or contrast or play off of, however you want to see it, every blue.
Mhm.
It has to be like this orange with this blue, and they have to be in the right proportion.
Yeah.
So it's a very like fine tweaked, notion. You can't just like slap a green and slap a red and then call it like perfect complementaries and then think that those two colors are just going to activate in your painting. It's not as easy as that. It's way, way more difficult to
Yeah,
do
and I
that
mean, of
properly.
course, there's theory in which you can relay
Rely on?
rely on. I'm sorry,
Yeah, don't worry.
I'm losing it.
No. Time to get you mummified.
No, time to get my coffee because I haven't had coffee or
Mummy
matcha today.
dearest.
Mommy dearest.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can base on theory and it works. But as Nicolas says, it's not like it works every time.
No, and
It's like
and applied,
a lot more complicated.
yeah,
than that.
applied color theory. So applied meaning that based on those notions, you are constructing a painting that works. Oh my God, that's so not easy. You can look at the exercises that James Gurney does, pushing color, which are pretty fascinating. I think those will give you an idea of how beautiful it is to just apply color theory. That is not quite the class that I'm doing. I try to always acknowledge what sort of stuff I could teach instead of thinking, oh, like for example, James is like this incredible teacher with this enormous experience. I think he has like experience that can rarely be matched by any other like illustrator or artist. So he has this enormous experience. He's super versatile, like incredibly versatile, and he understands how to put theory to use in his own work. And I think he does that incredibly well, like incredibly well. So when I think of something that I could teach, I always tell myself, well, can I teach that better than James? And I would say immediately, no. Like I don't have his experience or his talent or, nothing. Like he ticks so many boxes that I don't even begin to understand that I would say no. But that's kind of cool that you kind of let yourself know that there is somebody else that can teach this way better already. So that is not for you to teach. So when I asked myself, well, what can I teach? And I can actually teach a way more expressive use of color. So I think a lot of what that means has to do with intent. I mean, you have to be intelligent about how you construct your paintings, but you can also bend rules and make things that apparently don't make sense based on intent, based on just like, trying things out and trying to balance things, like almost like desperately trying to make your painting work. But you can do that. And I think that's the nature of the courses that we teach. So they are an acknowledgement of what does work, but it also challenges those things that work, because I can't see, for example, color theory only based on, I don't know, like, naturalist painting. That's very niche to me. That's very, very small to me. So when I think of color theory, I think of, everything that that took color up until the 20th century, like took the understanding of color up until the 20th century, which I think is one, I wouldn't know if it's like a straight line of thought, but it is, it points to one direction. And I think after, the first decade of the 1900s, it just goes everywhere. It's just like explodes in like all these different directions, which that it's quite amazing. And then nowadays, color is just like this tool that you can use and push in ways that you would have never imagined. So, I feel that if I don't acknowledge the past, I'm in the wrong, and if I don't acknowledge the present, I'm also in the wrong. So I always feel that it is important for me to just try to reach a balance between those two, and that's why I call it like expressive. I mean, it's sort of like a shorthand to refer to something that can be like rules that can be respected, but they can also be starting points, based on your understanding of your own intent. So, yeah.
So Vincent de la Noix
Ooh la la.
was saying, "Good morning, Daniel Nicolas. Salut,
Bonjour,
Vincent.
Vincent.
Salut. No?
Salut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
salut.
Yeah. Sure.
Come. No, I don't know. You was saying, how
Comment
are you?
allez-vous?
No.
I think that's
Comment.
yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Prince Barebones was saying, I remember when we first started having Run, our puppy, sleep with us. My boyfriend and I would both be wide awake worrying about the dog, even though he was fast asleep. Haha. Oh, that's Nicolas. The first time I mean, Chili was sick, but also Chili is tiny.
Yes.
So I was holding Chili and you couldn't sleep.
No.
She was sleeping perfect. I was sleeping perfect and you were not.
No.
Because you thought you were going to like.
It's a complete mistrust on you. It's pretty much that's what's underneath everything.
Well, that day you said, it's not that I don't trust you.
But
It's more that
you shouldn't have trusted that either.
like your father instinct kicked in as when you were with someone fed and they were tiny and you were scared of like, ¿cómo se dice aplastar?
Crushing
them.
Yeah. That with a sprinkle of like lack of trust, for sure.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Prince Barebones was also saying, I hope Chile continues to make a recovery. Oh, thank you. Yes. Parting Mist was saying, Ibrahim Salah, first you gotta ask her show she's doing. Is she a bit redder or is she okay? So they're just
that's like dating. Yeah. It's like a date joke. I feel.
So regarding the art podcast, Prince Barebones was saying, so they were reading our mind.
Yeah.
They were saying, if you haven't already, you should check out Nicolas' 6-hour podcast with John Dalton. It was a very good conversation.
Oh, thank you.
My art friends overall like John Dalton podcast though. And there was also a comment. Let me see. So Zero Tank was saying art department podcast is good. So I have no knowledge about that one.
No, me neither.
But I mean,
I'll
we should check it out.
People,
Yeah. So
art department. Is that the one where? Let me think. So who suggested that?
Zero Tank.
So Zero, is that where? Did I see that the other day? They were having a conversation about Linedecker. They were discussing Linedecker.
Well, let's check.
But what I saw was like a YouTube video. But it could have easily been like, made into a podcast. So
because also nowadays I see that there's a lot of podcasts that
there's a lot of videos that
record
then just say
also the video.
Let's put the audio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
About who was it?
Linedecker, JC Linedecker. They were speaking about how, how good or relevant. Chili, somebody dropped something upstairs. I mean, it wasn't that traumatic.
So
I don't know if that was it, but I don't know why I think that maybe it could be.
So it does have a YouTube. It looks like this.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Could you search for Linedecker?
Yeah, I was
there?
searching for that.
And maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it's not the place where I saw that video. I was fine with that. I didn't. Maybe some people have seen that video. I was fine with the video until I realized that I think she's an art teacher, and then he was like also an artist, maybe, I
think I don't see it there.
Okay, no, that's fine. But in this particular thing, and it's not that I'm being like protective of Linedecker, but I think I am also. This woman was not heavily criticizing, but just saying like how he was limited, how Linedecker was limited, and it blew me away.
I think it was this one, the one you saw, because it says Jay-Z Lindecker illustration debate.
Yes. Is it?
I guess so.
And what's is it a channel or something?
It's the YouTube. Oh,
Yeah, that's the one I saw. That's the one. What's the channel
I
called?
think everyone heard that. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Art Prof.
Art
Not
Professor?
proof, but prof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
create and
professors.
critique.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I saw that one. That's why it kind of. What was the other one called? The one they suggested? Art what? The art classroom.
Art department.
Okay, that's why I mixed those up because they sounded like a little bit alike. Yeah, but this professor, like I don't know much about her. Like I'll look into what she teaches, and she was making like I guess what can be valid points. But I'm just so protective of Leyendecker. I think I would be the worst judge of people like Rockwell or N.C. Wyeth or Leyendecker, Dean Cornwell, because, and I know that, you can have an objective, like, you can have like a manner of objectively criticizing them. I don't know if I can. I see so much of the good that they provided with their work that it's like, it's almost pointless to just really work hard at trying to find flaws. I think that's like, yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to find flaws, you're going to find flaws in every single artist alive and dead. Like that's, how hard is it to just find flaws? So I don't know, like debating how relevant he was, like Leyendecker, really? The artist that made the most post covers? Like what? Oh, her point was like that he was so successful, like he was incredibly successful and very wealthy too, that she was frustrated that he wouldn't take chances, so that he knew how to do something and he just didn't like, try to do different or try to solve things in different ways, which is very weird to say. It's almost like, hey, if you're successful, why don't you like, it's almost like you have to experiment. It's like, what? No, you don't have to do anything if you're successful. Like it's on you what you want. Like if you imagine like you working so hard at trying to understand something that you finally get to that place where you feel like you're, at bliss, and you're just saying, I got to the place that I love. I want to stay here because I've worked really hard to understand how to get to this place, and this is where I'm going to do my paintings. Like, you've earned it. That's how I see it. Like, you've totally earned it. You don't have to do anything. Why, for us? Like, what do we have to do there? Like, we are not part of that equation. Like, we can't just say, oh, what we expect of you because you're successful is this. It's like, what? What are you talking about? No. Like, you're not part. Like, you can have expectations about anything, but doesn't mean that the public dictates what an artist's career should be.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard the episode.
Yeah, I'm
but I
remembering
have
it.
to say that
No, you can trust me. I think
no,
I'm being objective
from what
with
you're
this.
saying, I feel that that's like when someone judges someone's work for what it's not, which I feel it doesn't make sense. Like when they tell you, oh, that's an amazing painting, but if you have done that as a drawing or as a sculpture, and you're like, yeah, but I didn't. So it's like trying not to talk about what you have in front,
Yeah.
but like speculate about what could have been,
right.
or what could have happened. And well, again, I haven't seen that episode.
Yeah.
But I feel that that's like talking about nothing really, like talking about an abstract of something that could have happened, but
or should have been.
Yeah, but how do you know it should have happened? Maybe he would have experimented a lot, and then you're like, oh, it was so sad that he derailed into blah blah blah.
Yeah, why don't you
So
stay
it's like-
there for more
exactly,
time?
it's
Or
like-
why don't you explore that?
If you speculate, you can always imagine a place where everything could have been like 10 times better, 100 times better.
Yeah.
But then you're speculating because it's not talking about something that really happened. So,
that usually speaks more about the person that's making that judgment. And I would say, she's not being prejudiced, of course, but she expects, or she measures great artists by how much they innovate, or how much they push, or how much
Mm-hmm.
they don't stay still. um and maybe that's something that's super important for her.
Yeah, which is not a bad
No,
thing,
that's just the way
but
she.
that's not the way that every single
No, of
artist
course
is
not.
gonna want to live their
No, of course not.
artistic career or life
No,
or
no.
work.
Like, you don't just say, "Oh, I need to push because people are expecting me to push." It's like, what? No. What? Why would you ever care about what people are expecting? Yeah, it's okay. What people are expecting you to do? Like, you got here on your own merit. Like, you got to this place where you're amazing because you were listening to yourself.
Well, and at the
Why
end,
would you then
you are
have
the
to, like,
one
yeah, why would you
that
have
are,
to change
yeah,
everything?
you're the one that are, you're the one creating stuff. So you don't have to obey what every single person wants from your work, but what you want from your work. So if you like fight it a lot to be where you are, then be there and enjoy being there for as long as you want.
Yeah, I
But I
didn't.
don't know. Again, I haven't heard the episode.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about, because when you were describing that, I was just thinking about how that has happened. And I've seen that happen to me. I've seen that happen to other artists in podcasts, in conversations, in real life. That you see that people are talking about what they thought they would have done with that idea, and it's like, yeah, that's great, but that's not how it happened. So why are we talking about things that didn't happen?
right. Yeah, it usually turns into conversation about us rather than about them. Like, us through our lens, which I guess, that is what criticism is, but more about us than it is about them. Um, but I also want to say that, like what I said at the beginning, that I am probably not good at this conversation because I would be very defensive
Mm-hmm.
of these people. They mean so much to me, like so much to me. These like golden age illustrators, that it's not that I can't find anything wrong with them, but it's just that their value, their overall value, outweighs any sort of like shortcoming that they probably had. With Rockwell, people criticize him as a person, like as a human being, all the time, all the time. And a lot of people feel that he was this kind of like peg in a very in a larger propaganda machine that was trying to sell like these very whatever, however you want to see it, but like these the people that are that criticize this would see them as superficial values of like Americana. And they saw him pretty much like a propaganda, like he was part of that. He was part of selling what America, the values that America should have. um what they don't realize is like those are the things that kept, for example, a country that was at war twice and went through like a Great Depression, like those were the things that helped people realize that they were still good people. Like they could still say, "Oh, let's have fun going to a ski trip," or "Oh, look, this is, gossip is something that is really fun, and the way, Rockwell can interpret gossip is like amazing." Like little things, tiny little things. So like you could always find fault. And with Rockwell, they were like, "Oh no, he was a terrible partner. Like he got divorced like so many times, and he was just a bad human being in terms of like his personal relationships." But that was like his private life. But if you talked to the towns where, if you go to Stockbridge and ask about Rockwell, they were like, he's a god. He's like, there was nobody nicer and warmer that, made the whole town famous. And he loved working with people. So it's so strange. I don't know. Like I said, I would be terrible at that discussion, because it's unless there was something like, you know I would have a hard time going to bat for like Gauguin, for example. Just, I think he's kind of like this Eurocentric little like kind of scumbag. But that's where I would draw the line. But if it's not so evident, if it's not as like, yeah, I just went as, this European and went to this place where I could marry like a 15-year-old or a 12-year-old.
You're talking about
Gogan.
Gogan, yeah. If
Yeah.
someone does not know, because that
Yeah.
sounds.
So, that's where I would say, like, yeah, but Wyeth wasn't that person, or Rockwell wasn't that person. Like, that's where I would draw the line. If it's like something that I'm just like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. I can't defend you. Like, I'm not gonna die on this hill. I'm sorry. Like, you made paintings that I go like, oh, that's a cool painting, but that's where I stop. That's where I would literally stop. But with people that are like, Leyendecker was so cool. Oh, they were criticizing too how little. I don't know if in this, like, okay, so stop. Let's stop. So I don't know if in this podcast or video, but I was reading, or I don't know if it was part of that. I can't remember right, or if I was reading somewhere else how people criticize Leyendecker because they didn't see him as like a queer artist. And I was like, what? I think that's such a contemporary lens of viewing like something like an artist from like 100 years ago. It's so strange. It's like, oh, they never talked about his queerness. And it was like, yeah, they were never going to talk about him being gay. Like, that was never going to be part of that conversation. So it's really strange how much we impose ourselves onto these like past conversations, thinking that our own context can actually, I don't know, it can overtake their own context, which obviously it can't. I mean, they're the ones who lived through all of it. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, I feel.
Cacaíto, pelón.
Pelón.
Dice Morning Danny, Coco y Chili, ¿cómo van? Mira, Chili vino a saludarte. Tiene la camisa que le regaló Márgara. La usamos de pijama. Para que no le dé frío. ¿Qué más, Cacaíto? Nosotros bien. ¿Tú cómo estás? So Dane Schumacher was saying, sorry, Prince Barebones. I can't figure out how direct reply. I feel like John Talton. Okay. So they're saying that they don't like how he interviews.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so that's.
and they were saying, I've watched a bunch of his episode. What are your favorite brushes? Was a reference to him. Okay, so I mean that's why we say that.
Yeah.
People can like, or because I mean we do like.
Yeah.
His
I've
podcasts.
I also feel that well, John is also open to people making questions, so he'll receive questions from his audience so that he can relay those questions. I have to say though, I have to be very, very honest here. I asked Ruprecht von Kaufmann I asked a question about his palette the other day, and it was deeply like, I don't know. I loved that he entertained the question. He answered, and he was totally fine, by the way, in answering the question. But I don't think that every conversation about art has to be like highbrow art. Like, every single conversation about that if I talk to Ruprecht von Kaufmann, I want to sit down and talk to him as if, I was having a coffee.
Yeah, I think that's how we like to have conversations. And I
Right.
guess that there's a lot of people that, I mean, if they're not having the conversation but looking for content, maybe they just want like a super condensed inside the artist brain thing. But I have to say that I'm with you, that I enjoy more having a conversation
Yeah.
than
So-
having like this like little summary about
Yeah.
the art life.
So you
But
know what they would probably enjoy? Like the Arts 21 series.
maybe.
Yeah, those are like, that is art speak. That is like some of the most contemporary, like famous contemporary artists. Conversations there are usually super, nice. Like nice
Like
in terms
rich.
of like,
Yeah.
talking about art. I'm pretty sure this person has probably seen all of those.
Maybe.
But if you haven't, what was their name? I'm sorry.
Dane.
If you haven't seen those again, just give them a watch. I've seen them. I've seen all of them, and they're fascinating in the sense that they can be, I don't know. I actually don't think that that because an artist speaks, then it's immediately interesting. I really don't.
No, and I also like, I mean, because I was reading HM was saying, I think it's important to have lowbrow discussions about art, makes it more accessible, in my opinion. And I have to say that I really like that nowadays we can have like that sort of content, like conversations with an artist where you just don't see the image you have in your brain about this artist being amazing and being like out like super far from you, but you
Yeah.
can see that they're a human being and you can listen to them having conversations about food, art, uh, sports, laughing about stuff, or having conversations about art, but also being critic about things they really don't like, or talking super fun, like fun girling or fun boying about whatever artist they're talking about, because that makes them more like digestible for
Yeah.
me at least, because I really don't like to have someone in a pedestal, because I feel that that can play like a terrible thing in my brain. I love to see them as humans. I love to see them, and I love to understand everyone as a human being, and I love those conversations. So yeah, I would, if you tell me that you're gonna have two different podcasts, and it is with, let's say, Oliver Jeffers, which I love, and you tell me one is about like every single detail of his work, what he uses, what he does not use, how he started, like every minute thing about his work, or him talking about his work in his own words and talking about how his work has influencia, how do I say?
Influenced.
Influenced his life, and how his work is part of his every single day. Like, I would 100% go for that second podcast. But again, that's just me. So, were you going to say something?
No, I was just thinking that I don't know. Like I was part of like an academic institution, like a visual arts faculty, and many times when artists were invited or when we teachers would have to well, we didn't have to, but or we were invited to be part of some sort of initiative that we were investigating, some sort, some theme. If we had to write about something for some publication, I actually wrote two articles for different publications that we had in the faculty. But I mean, it's heavy. I'm guessing like some people just want that, just want to have those conversations. But I can't imagine like philosophers always talking like philosophers
Mm-hmm.
all the time. I cannot imagine that. I can't imagine that you're on all the time. Like all the time. I think that's unbearable. So when I would listen to like art speak, quote unquote art speak at the university, and I did it for so long, it at some point you just want to talk about art as if you were in a bar. Like you could sit down and have a beer and just talk about art simply, like super simply. Because don't be mistaken. Like if you read Deleuze and Bacon, or if you look at the interviews of Sylvester and Bacon, Francis Bacon, is always very down to earth. Like he's a mess. He's an absolute mess, and he's super down to earth, and he's super like a lot of the things he would say won't really make sense, and it doesn't matter. Like that is the human being that he was. And but the other side, like both in Deleuze and Sylvester, that's where a writer or an interviewer, a philosopher interviewing, come in and they speak about how they see it from their shore, and that's great. I think that's fascinating. But usually artists, usually, I'm not going to say it's always quite like that, but I don't know. Like if you hear Damon Hirst speak, he speaks like what you imagine Damon Hirst would speak like. You know, it's this guy just obsessed with art market and obsessed with money, and he has like this amazing clarity as to what art means to him, but it's very earthy. It's very, very earthy. I don't think he's conceptually, brilliant. But I don't know. Maybe Dane is
Yeah.
looking for something way more conceptual,
Yeah,
and I think I think you have a better shot at reading interviews like that than having a podcast where artists have to sound brilliant all the time, because artists don't sound brilliant constantly.
maybe because of the podcast format,
Yeah,
because it's more of a conversation, and a
yeah,
conversation sometimes turns into like a
anything.
more casual conversation. Yeah. But I mean, by any means, we're trying to like say that like academic content is not good, because sometimes you're just looking for that and you just want to know like all the details into the academic aspect of someone's work,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's great too. Yeah. But I guess that what we're saying is that we tend to go for the other
Oh,
content
yeah. I have to say
way
that
more.
in like I said, in my life, I'm not saying that I got my fill of it, like that it was too much and then I just don't want to do it again. No, I think it's like super interesting having conversations.
No, and sometimes
Uh,
you need it.
yeah,
Sometimes you're like, I love listening to this person talk about their life, but I would like them to answer this question. Like I would love if there was a place where they answered this question that I've always had.
right. Um, yeah, I just don't know of a single podcast in art that would do that consistently
No.
with people that where, because artists are free to speak about, to see their work from wherever they want to see it, wherever they want to see it. If they want to speak about painting because it's important to them, then that's what they want to speak about. um I remember I showed my students, and I probably don't have it anymore. I probably have it like in Facebook somewhere, like a photo of this. It was an interview that they did to Gerhard Richter, and they were trying to like push this symbolism behind his mark making.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would ask about his big brushes and the squeegees and everything, but they were talking about like a big brush, and they go into this description, like whomever was interviewing Buchholz, I feel was interviewing Richter, and they go into this like super ornate description as to how they see like how they understand the reason behind his tools,
Mm-hmm.
like and what actually those tools speak about. And they go into this whole thing, and then Richter, and you could whatever, you could think whatever you want about Richter, but he is one of the most famous living artists in the world for sure. But and then they do that, and Richter's answer is like no. They go through this whole description of thinking like, oh, I'm going to, maybe you are a limited person in understanding what you do. Let me try to put this into like this beautiful, all these beautiful words, and I'll help you describe what you're doing with your materials. And they go into all this effort of saying that, and then Richter's like, no, that's not it. And he just purely sees it as a formal thing. So it's so funny. Like I always, and the reason I would show this to my students is like, look, this is not always the case, but look at the difference between an imposed message, like an imposed interpretation, which is what the interviewer was doing at that moment, and hoping that they could
You
just
could find echo.
throw this Hail Mary, and that Richter would catch that pass and say yes, yeah, I am going to validate what you're saying about my work. But look at the vast precipice that can exist between somebody who wants to talk about your art and something you feel yourself about your art. And many times there's this huge space between the voice of the artist and the interpretation of the voice of the artist done by somebody who is probably speaking about more they're probably speaking more about their own attraction to a certain philosophy, to a certain current of philosophy, or some currents of in literature, than than them sitting down and saying like, oh, this is what they say they're, if I listen to them, this is what they say their art is about.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that, and I remember an interview with Hockney,
Mm-hmm.
and I forget where this was too. And I remember I showed it to my students at the time also, where they were talking about, they were asking him to describe this painting, and it's a beautiful painting. It's like this square painting that has like a little house here and like a road here, and it's a very strange. I'm scribbling, but I think I remember the painting being that like that, and they ask him to describe the painting and to talk about the painting, and then when it comes to the house, Hockney says, well, I painted it because it's a very pretty house. And the person that was interviewing him was saying like, surely you can't just use
be
the
that,
word pretty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't just refer to it as pretty. Like, that's like, what does that mean? And Hockney was like, oh no, it's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the word that I want to use. Like, that is how I
that's
see
why
that
I
house.
did it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's like, you could even argue that that's why he even painted it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what moved him about painting it in that particular way, and that's what eventually helped him configure, what that felt like for him in painting. So why would you ever tell somebody like, if they use the word pretty, and pretty is not enough of art speak, pretty was not enough of an art speak term for the interviewer, and they were like, no, you can't use this. And I love that he kind of fought back, and he was like, what do you mean? What? It's like, of course it's pretty. Like, what is wrong with
well,
pretty?
and the funny thing there is that he is the one that did the painting, so he's the one that knows what was the thing that made him want to do that. So it's like, oh, why did you paint that? Oh, it's pretty. No, but no, it can't be just that. It's like, hey, I'm telling you. I mean, you're asking me why I did it. I'm telling you because it's pretty.
Yeah.
So let's see. Dane Schumacher was saying Art 21 is a great recommendation. I believe I've watched most of them, and Nicolas and Danny are right on about their assessment. I appreciate your opinion. And they were also saying definitely important for both, and I enjoy both given an appropriate format. Just hoping to find some more if they were out there. Thanks for the discussion.
No, sure.
No, and that's why I was saying that it's also, I mean, I think it was very spot on when you said that maybe in a podcast, it's more complicated to find that format.
Yeah.
Because I feel that because it's a conversation, it is bound to go to other places very quickly. And you can just like go and talk about tons of things and then go again into the art talk.
Yes.
And be like very serious and talk, but then you will derail again because of the format of a conversation.
Yeah.
But maybe like in a more edited content, like they can make it more into a formal.
Yeah, they can give it a little more structure.
Formal all the way. Yeah. But of course they are both important.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if it was only talking, and it's like, oh yeah, well, I love that, but I want to know about this. But maybe it's like, okay, it's a lot of art talk. Now I want to know about the person behind that art. So yeah, I feel it's more of a balance.
I was reading an interview with Richard Prince the other day, because Richard Prince a mess. Like, he is, I find him so fascinating because I think he's brilliant, but he's like chaos, like probably the most chaotic artist that's alive, I feel. But and many times you expect him to be just this brilliant conceptual mind behind all this like chaotic sort of will, and he's not. He's just like very quirky and weird. And I've read interviews where it's like, oof, I can't make sense of anything. Like this is it's a strange conversation, and it goes into super strange places, but it doesn't, like, you don't really understand what he's doing more than what you get from when you open yourself up to what he tries to do with his art, like when you recognize his intent with his artwork. But it's not as if, you know, you read this and you go like, oh wow, I have like this newfound fascination for Richard Prince. I remember he was the interviewer was saying how they had met, I think, an author that had passed, and they say like, oh, the author said, the interviewer says, oh, I interviewed this author.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Prince is so weird that he just says, oh, did you interview him before he passed? And the guy's like, well, yes. And he goes like, oh, well, yeah, of course you did. It's like, what is that? Like, that is where sometimes the mind of an artist is. Like, it's a strange place. Sometimes it's a very, but the thing is, we all think every artist is like Duchamp. Every artist is like a pseudo philosopher. We think that is what goes on with every single artist. That
And
it's like a
sometimes-
super educated philosopher.
Yeah, and sometimes
It's
people
not
feel
true.
that that's how it has to be
Yeah.
for it to be a great piece of art. And I feel that with this that you were describing and with what you were talking about, David Hockney talking about a pretty house,
Yeah.
I feel that that's more people like projecting what they felt of the artwork and how they feel that it was something that made them feel too much, like it was a very sensible piece. So they're talking more about what they're projecting that what really ignited the piece. Because
Yeah.
it's
or
like you can read into the piece and you can like dissect every single thing in the piece and you can make it like a philosophical thing. And maybe you ask the artist and it's like, oh no, I mean, that thing that you're describing there, that you describe as like the origin of the universe or whatever, I just spilled a little bit of tea, so I had to cover it up. So I just did that thing there to cover. Because sometimes it's as accidental as that. Sometimes you're like, oh, what were they thinking when they did this? And
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
weren't.
It's a pretty house. Or, no, I mean, I had a little stain in the paper, so I had to cover it up.
You know who
So-
wouldn't spill that tea? Mummy me, when you have me stuffed making my tea.
Hmm. Well, you know, you wouldn't spill that tea too, because that's a way of talking about gossiping, and you wouldn't be able
I'd
to
be
gossip.
a great listener.
No, you
For the
wouldn't
first
spill
time,
that tea.
For the first time in my life,
You
Danny,
wouldn't have tea.
I would be
You
a
would
great
be-
listener. It's like, I love that he doesn't interrupt me anymore.
HM was saying, who are you talking about right now? I missed it.
Oof. I don't know. Many people.
Yeah. At this moment, we are
At
talking
this
about
moment in time,
Mommy Nicolas.
Mummy Nicholas.
Mommy
Yeah.
Las.
Mommy
Mommy
Las.
Las.
Yeah.
So,
No mames las.
no mames Las, no.
Me puedes decir cosas así, por ejemplo. Sería
No, no
súper
te diría
chévere.
nada porque no proceso, no, después no puedo, no puedo. Que no. Nicolás, no puedo. A ver. So Parting Mist was saying, I think you could have a mummy if it's
Yes.
prepared properly. The problem with keeping the dead is the spread of disease. People have shrunken heads and that type stuff, and people have skulls, etc. Our service company sometimes fixes a freezer at a place called Skulls Unlimited. It is kind of hard for the technician to deal with, though. LOL. I want to know our service. What do you do for a living, Parting
Well,
Mist?
no. They have, like, repair. From what I gather.
Our service company sometimes fixes a freezer.
Yeah.
I thought fixes a freezer as in they're
have
the
to-
dealer, so they get the freezer for
Yeah,
them. They're like,
they unplug Walt Disney World
Yeah.
from like the cryogenic freezer he's at.
Catherine Poremsky was saying, I'm guessing that if it's illegal, it's less about hygiene and more about social norms. And a wink emoji.
Wait, dead body. Wait, a stuffed body can carry disease? I mean, anything. Well, disease can be anywhere, but can a dead body or a mummified body have disease? Like,
Is that a way of you asking me?
I mean, I need questions answered because right now I need to make 50,000. I need to have $50,000 saved up for.
So I want to show this because this is amazing. I googled can mummies, and the suggestions are carry disease, number 1. So the number 2 is can mummies kill you?
Well,
Can
with
mummies
their
come
disease.
to life? Are mummies dangerous?
Oh my god!
So can mummies carry disease?
Like fungus, maybe.
So
That's the only thing I
studies
can
of
think
Egyptian mummies have shown that the presence of various infections and non-infectious agents and their associated diseases in the modern era originated from ancient times. Wait, because I don't know where they're going. Blah, blah, blah.
Don't you kill everything with like formaldehyde and all that stuff?
So
when you mummify somebody, or
recent laboratory studies
Yeah?
have revealed, this is a National Geographic article. that
okay, we
says,
can kind of trust them, I
Yeah.
guess.
Revealed that some ancient mummies do indeed carry mold, including
Right.
at least 2 potentially dangerous species:
Okay.
Aspergillus
Okay.
niger and Aspergillus flavus.
Okay.
These molds can cause allergic reactions ranging from congestion to bleeding in the lungs.
Okay, that's a mummy though. Can they stuff you? Is
Where
stuffing
can
an
I
animal,
Google that?
Is stuffing an animal better than mummifying? Stuffing versus mummifying.
Ay, Dios.
I need to know. I need to know where to put my money, Danny.
No.
I'm not just gonna throw my
Well,
money
not there.
into the worst option.
Stuffing versus
Mummifying.
mummification. So, what's the difference between taxidermy
Yeah?
and mummification? No, but that's Quora.
So we can ask,
So,
can
different
stuffed
between
animals have...
taxidermy and mummification? No, but wait, because you're asking like 500 questions
Okay.
every second. So
Yes.
please, please,
My mind is going a million miles
please
an hour. I have a lot of
control
things to
your
figure out,
vocals.
but I'm about to write my will.
Taxidermy involves skinning an animal, curing its skin, and stretching the skin over a mannequin to give it a lifelike representation for that animal. Mummification does not result in a lifelike appearance because it involves drying out the body.
Oh, so if you stuff me, I'm just skin. It's my skin. You can't live with my skin?
No.
Are you that thin-skinned?
Yes.
Really?
No, ¿de qué hablas?
It's
No.
just skin. Skin on top of like a mannequin. Come on. Oh my god, Danny. Could we stretch the skin over like an animatronic?
No.
Zzz, zzz. Like just dipping the tea bag.
I mean, you can leave a will that says that you want your skin to be used in animatronics, and you give that to a place that wants to do that study. Not me.
Like the most subtle motion. Me like dropping the bag, taking it out.
No, you can do that.
Dropping the bag, taking it out.
No, what a waste of energy.
And
Like
just like
fueling a
good
machine to-
morning.
No.
Good.
Again,
Like
I mean,
one of those old records.
if we're being
Good
super
morning,
honest, you could
Danny.
you could actually Okay. So you could actually leave a wheel that says that you want your body to be used for studies. And that would be great. I mean, you could be like, use my body to find the new way of mummification. That's perfect. But I don't have to deal with that.
Oof. Tell me that you don't love me without telling me that you don't love me.
Well, tell me that you don't love me without telling me you don't love me is you telling me to do that.
Oof.
Like, you're not even here and you're telling me to do something that's gonna pain me. So, pain me? No, that's gonna make me feel pain. So, no.
I mean, I'm not coming to life with like a hatchet.
So, Parting Mist was saying, my company repairs restaurant equipment. Saint Gales was saying, I'm copying a Versalius etching for my anatomy class. I'm
Nice.
losing my sanity.
We're all connected.
Parting Mist was saying, it would be so horrifying to see an actually taxiderm human. LOL. LOL, that's a funny combination. Lots of faces in the old memory bank for reference, I suppose though. Jason McCrea was saying, what a debate.
Well, I could be one of the bodies exhibit. What if that guy does my body? You will never see me in better shape. Finally, I see Nicolas's muscles.
OG1 Kenobi was saying, I have a friend who is an amazing portrait artist. He's also an embalmer. Pretty good at that too. LOL.
Oof, that is kind of weird and cool.
So where were we? Air Roll was saying, hi, I love your stream. It's very useful. I recommend it to everyone in my art school. Thank you both for this. I want to get criticism from Nicolas for my painting. Is it possible?
Sure.
So if you want to send it to my Instagram, it's Daniela OCMP.
Like, follow, subscribe, share.
Brandon Kendrick was saying, 8 a.m. Nicolas. Can you taxidize a loved one and keep them in your living room? And a laughing emoji.
I didn't sleep last night. So this has been in my brain for many hours now today.
Parting Mist was saying, fair enough. And when it comes to taxidermy specifically, it seems like you need a license. So even if it's legal somehow, you would have to find someone to do the taxidermy, and I'm sure no one would.
Oh, I am sure there's a person out there that would be like, this is a great challenge. I mean, why not?
No.
Why not?
Sergi Arts dice, hola.
Yeah.
Hola, Sergi.
I bet you that dude, the Dutch guy from the Bodies exhibition, he would do it. I bet you he'd do it.
Well, leave your body to him.
Maybe.
That's great.
Yes.
That's why I was saying that's amazing.
If I die and Joel Peter Whitkin is still alive, let him take some pictures of my body.
No, let him. So you leave
but
like
he
a
has
letter
to come
or
in
whatever.
and drag me and
But you're not gonna be like laying in the sofa until he comes. You're gonna be
put me in the floor?
No, in a.
Oh my God! Can I just at least be comfortable before
No.
Whitkin takes my pictures?
You can just be in a hospital or in a university or something like that, but not like just chilling with Chili in the sofa. No, thank you.
Oh, Chili. Chili, don't lick Nicholas. Don't lick the cadaver.
Where did you took that finger from? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh my
joke.
God. She's got your nose again.
Sergi Arts dice, otro día escuchándolos desde el estudio con una cantidad exuberante de inspiración. Uy, qué bueno, Sergi.
Grande, Sergi.
Amaneció inspirado, Sergi.
¿Ves? Las conversaciones de momias hacen eso normalmente.
Pues esto fue hace mucho, ¿no? Estoy leyendo comentarios de antes, pero de pronto ya no está inspirado.
Daniel Ira, would you have one of those Whitkin photographs? Those are tough. No? I mean, they're heavy.
No, I think I would.
Some of them are super heavy.
No, I can't.
There's one of like two heads kissing, like two cadaver heads.
Yeah,
kissing.
no, I think I can't. I don't have the stomach for that.
I do. I 100% would. I think they're gorgeous.
No, they are gorgeous.
They're the most like romantic, baroque. I mean, I love them.
Yeah, they are amazing, but I don't know if I could. I mean,
oof, yeah, they're tough.
Where?
Tough. Well, let's say your house. Let's say nobody would go into your house. Because sometimes we feel weird.
No.
What other
because
people
I'm not
feel.
thinking about what people would feel. I'm thinking about
No,
like
it's your
having
house.
to
Your-
stare at that.
Oh, you don't have
like,
to. Like
every
it's not
time
on
you're-
top of your bed.
Exactly.
Like
It's
it's not. It's not the ceiling.
like if you have a huge enough collection,
Oh, you want it
it would
like
be a great
dispersed.
piece. No. But if it's the only piece you own,
Okay, that
and
would
it's
be a
the
little
only
weird.
thing you are watching all the time, I
no,
think
that would be a little strange.
exactly. That's why I was saying that.
If it's the only, like, if you put it that way, it's like, oh, I love to collect art, but I have a single piece, and it's like this still life with a baby. It's like woof, and I'm describing like an actual Witkin photograph. That's pretty amazing. Like I'm sure some people are weirded out by that sort of stuff, but it's, he works with death. He doesn't like, he's not searching for death, or he's not saying like, oh, I'm gonna kill this adult in order to take a picture. Right. No, it's not that.
Nicolás nos van a flaguear
No, what?
video.
We're talking about Joel Peter Witkin's like work. What? That's not even close to like, that's like discussing Memento Mori's. No. I'm sorry, but if we can have like serious art conversations, like this is 100% like a serious art conversation. These are the conversations that Witkin wants you to have about death, when you look at his photographs.
Talking about someone mummifying with a tea bag in your living room.
Well, I would be trivializing a little bit of that conversation, but sure. I mean, if that's my way out, yeah.
Yeah, but if you think that's the only piece you own,
Strange.
yeah.
But I would have to say,
I mean, I have
A
to be
million
100%
times.
honest. I love his work.
yeah.
But if I was dating you and I go to your house and you only have that piece, I would be a little bit scared
Yeah.
for my safety.
Oh, for your safety.
Because if you're not into
Doesn't
art, but
speak that I'm like a psycho.
well, but I think that it could attract people like that. I mean, if you're not attracted to art but only to that piece,
Yeah.
I would like to know why, but like in a public place.
With like a megaphone.
I don't know why I'm thinking about
and
a
a cop
house,
right next to
like
you.
a very like weird house.
Like an old Victorian house or something.
No, like a very dark and like
Dingy.
no, sucia.
Yeah, like dingy.
Yeah. And just like that there.
Like
and
a
you're
Fight
like, hey,
Club
just
house?
come and watch a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Like watch a movie with me. And
well, red flags
this
everywhere.
is exactly. I don't know why I'm thinking about
Yeah, that's a little darker than what I thought.
that piece being
no,
there.
I thought you were
which-
just like an art collector.
No, that's why I was
thought you
saying
would
if
be
it's
like,
the
I
only
love photography.
if it's the only thing you own, like no, well, not the only thing. You don't have a sofa.
love
You
that.
don't have a bed.
Yeah,
no.
can I have a fork? No, I'm sorry. We
No,
use
but
our
you can
fingers
look
here.
at that.
You
Yeah.
have, do you have a bathroom?
But
now?
if
You
it's
have to
the
pee
only
on
thing
top of the
hanging
photo.
in your house, could be weird.
A little bit, maybe.
That's why I would be interested in knowing why
yeah.
you like it that much to have it and to be the only piece you own. But if you have like a ton of like a big collection
Yeah.
and you have that, I would be completely fine with it.
Would you be weirded out if it was like, I just have it for existential purposes? It just reminds me of, this is what we are. We're just like a pile of.
That's good, but if it
Big.
was my first
Oh no,
date, I would be like
you're already
calling an Uber.
calling
Yeah.
an Uber. It's like, yeah, keep going. Oh, wow,
911.
that's so interesting.
Help me. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Also, you know that
Uber Flash.
I mean,
Get here quick.
I listen to a lot of true crime things.
I
So
know.
that would be like the biggest red flag. I would be like, what? Why the hell did
FBI,
I
open
say
up.
yes to come here? Yeah. Jeff Acup was saying, sounds like I walked in a creepy conversation. LOL. Yes, it is very creepy. So, let's ask a question. And I'm going to go to give Chily her
Oh
lunch.
yeah, because she needs medicine.
And her
without
medicine,
lunch.
yeah. So,
But I'll leave this here. But there has to be a reason why the bodies exhibit around the world is so popular. Like, we are fascinated by that. We're fascinated
you know
by
what I think that
like
you just
death has to be the most fascinating thing in a human being's life. It just has to be. Every single thing we do is to understand death or to fight death or to just come to terms with death. I think every single thing we do.
so
Anyways.
Gosia Sicholas was saying, hi Danny, Nicolas, and Chili. I once watched a program about a man in Russia who stole bodies from graves. He had a whole collection of them. They were all dressed up and he treated them like family.
Oh my
Okay, so he
god.
that's very scary. I'm gonna go
Yeah, but those are strangers. Yeah, you don't just like you
no, and
steal
that's
bodies.
weird. It's like I have
And
this body and she's my girlfriend and he's my boyfriend and
yeah,
she's my aunt.
well, you don't want to make her jealous. The, no, yeah, that's not. That's like a little. That's like a step too far. I feel. So no, no, no. We're talking about like I don't know, your grandma. Yeah, your grandma. She was so nice, so welcoming. Well, she can greet everyone. She could be like right. You open the door and she's like right there. Hi, hi, everyone. In many ways, I still don't think it's that weird. I have to say, like the more I think about it, the more I think it's like pretty normal. I wonder if there's people checking the church, like with all their relics, like seeing, no, like seeing if they don't have that mold. Nobody checks on that. It's double standards. I think this is where I have a problem with all of this. Double standards. I should speak about what I'm doing, right? Because I haven't said anything about the drawing. So I'll speak about the drawing while Danny is helping with Chili dog. Um, so drawing fed, and the reason I'm drawing, like I'm doing this somewhat uh resolved drawing, is because I many times go on one direction and then I try to balance myself out by going on like the opposite direction. And the painting that I did of Fer, so you could kind of understand the two of these as like partner paintings in the sense that they, um, one painting makes the other one possible. So I guess they would be related in that sense. But in that painting, I wanted to liberate myself from like these sort of structural notions of drawing, um, and even like the hands in that painting. It's one of my past paintings. I think it's the last video that we did. Um, those hands are like super abstract, and they speak more about gesture and light, maybe, more so than anything else in terms of like their formal construction. Um, so I wanted, like, I was very happy doing that painting, but I wanted to see, I wanted to give myself the chance to now like explore the gesture of the hands like a little more deeply. Um, and um, and I thought, well, I could just go straight to paint for sure. That's fine. That's what I usually do. Or I could, um, or I could just spend time like investigating the drawing. And I have no idea how this drawing is going to manifest in the final painting, because I do want to paint it. This is not just this wouldn't just be like a drawing. Not that it's just a drawing, but I don't want to um, keep it as a drawing. So, um, so, but I want to have like certain bit of clarity, as to what I'm doing with these forms. Certainly more than what I had in my past painting, and the openness of the last painting helps me in many aspects that wouldn't be available to me if I did this tighter drawing. But with this one, I want to acknowledge that tightness, that is mm, that is like within the nature of doing something that is somewhat more resolved. Like the parameters of what you're trying to solve are way more visible when you have like a tighter drawing available to you, and you're going to try to paint something. Like I mean, we as painters, we can always just change things up in the painting stage and not follow the drawing and just make adjustments on the fly. And I think most great painters do that. They don't feel like they are bound by the drawing. But I think that having something so articulated already there means that the chances of letting go of those decisions are slimmer than if you just have something that's enunciated. Let's put it that way. So yeah, so I wanted to just take my time like exploring this a little bit further.
I'm back.
Thank God.
I'm cold.
Yeah?
Yes. So Jeff Acuff was saying that's messed up.
What is? Out of everything that...
Marcelo Peralta was saying, I wouldn't have a stuffed pet, let alone a relative. LOL. Yeah, no. Parting Mist was saying, yeah, I agree. The inevitability of death makes it a pretty interesting subject. Nicolas has plans to return after passing. Gotta keep the body nice for him to reuse.
Oh, no. I don't think
Return of the great Nicolas.
No, I don't think there's anything after we go. So I think this world is gorgeous and amazing. And it's the one shot we have. And after that, there's just rest.
HM was saying, unrelated to this convo.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ever going to run your course again? Would love to take it one day.
Oh, you're very kind. Yes. I think in the second semester of this year, we are going to do... second semester of this year, we're gonna offer both courses again. So the one that's gonna start today, actually, that has to do with composition, and the one that started 8 weeks ago this Saturday, that I'm finishing this Saturday, that had to do with like expressive use of color. So yeah, I think both of them are going to be open for people. But I don't expect us to do this more than twice a year, to be super honest. I'm very, very happy with how it's gone. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I also wanted to feel special. So special in the sense of the time that I dedicate to it and the time that I dedicate to the people that are there taking the course. So I think it's best to at most do it only twice a year for each. But thank you for asking.
Uy, chile. ¿Qué fue ese sonido? Oye.
Yeah, she's still eating, I feel.
No, it's little mucus.
Oh, nice.
Well, she's congested. So, where was I? Where's the mouse? Sophie dice, ¿eso significa que el próximo año también harás los cursos?
Si todo va bien, se puede contemplar ofrecerlos la chofi. La alcachofi.
HM was saying, oh, I'm so glad. Phew. Phew. I don't know how to say that.
Phew.
Phew.
Whew.
Well,
I
not
don't know.
few. Poof. I'm sure.
One of those
None
worked.
of those.
Yeah, one of those worked, I'm sure.
Supratim Chowdhury was saying, hello, sir. I am back. Hey, Supratim.
Missed you?
Darcia was saying, hey, everyone, finally catching another live with my favorite art YouTube channel. Hell yes.
Oh, nice.
That's so nice.
Nice.
Welcome here, Darcia. OG1 Kenobi was saying, can we see your reference for the drawing?
I have it here with me. It's fair, but don't worry. I am close in a lot of things, and I'm very far in others. I'm hitting a lot of things, and I'm not hitting a ton of other things.
Maximiliano Romaldi dice, saludos Dani Nicolás Chily desde Argentina. Quería preguntarte, Nico, ¿desde qué edad pintas de manera, entre comillas, seria? Creo que serio nunca has sido.
No, sí, vamos. Bueno, serio, desde que me enseñó, o sea, desde la primera vez que vi pintura, yo creo que me fascinó y pues entendí que quería que eso fuera mi vida. Entonces, digamos que desde ese momento la entendí seria, que fue a los 18, 19. Sí, porque empezó mi segundo año en la universidad. Mi primer año fue de pérdidas.
¿Cómo así? ¿A qué edad te graduaste tú?
17.
¿17?
Ujú.
17.
Sí, por eso dije 18, 19. Porque yo empecé 17, 18 y luego 18, 19.
Ujú.
Alcancé a pisar un poquito esa, digamos que esa primera clase con mi profe. Entonces, si voy a decir eso, voy a decir, digamos, 25 años. Pero si voy a decir desde qué momento, por ejemplo, vivo de la pintura, o sea, que empecé a pintar bueno, yo empecé a trabajar en pintura en mi tercer año de la universidad, en un taller de hacer murales que había en Nueva York. Entonces, pues digamos 22, como para hacer 23 años, como para ser súper juiciosos ahí o súper específicos con eso.
Saint Gales was saying, Sargent, so let me see if there's something before. No. Sargent wouldn't draw a priori of painting. He did a bunch of
No.
indications with charcoal.
Well,
Rub it
that's-
away, then go straight into paint.
Yeah, well,
In
that's drawing. But by the way, if
In
you
Har-
want to be super technical, that's drawing.
In Harold Speed's book,
Yeah.
he talks about how doing a tight drawing at first might stop one from going further than the drawing because it already has its own grace.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, 100% right. The other day we were discussing how, many times when you read people as powerful as Sargent, like that can be like this guiding light for many of us when we are younger or when we are, more developed artists, I would say, more mature artists. How many times, Sargent will say something and we can, I mean, it's the onus is on us to see it either for what it is or to interpret it as something that can become like this unequivocal truth, in our, or that we see it as a building block of our philosophy, better. And there's on the notes on Sargent PDF that you can find anywhere. There's tons of things that I would be like, I mean, I love Sargent, but I don't agree with this, or I like the paintings that go against this thing that he's saying. And that's a very weird thing to realize, that, you may like two artists that were, amazing in their own right, but when you hear how directly or indirectly they would refer to each other or to each other's work, or they would refer to what constitutes, the other's work, like the thought process behind or the formal construction behind the other's work. Sometimes they were very critical, and it kind of feels weird. It's almost like you have like your two kids and you have to say, oh my God, now I have to pick a favorite because, I don't know, like, you're my daughter and you're amazing, and you're my son and you're amazing. But you say that I shouldn't use an underdrawing, but you do underdrawings and you're incredible. But in the end, you realize that's what Sargent believed in, and it obviously worked for Sargent. And he's like one of the most gifted painters ever and talented painters ever. But not because of that, then you shouldn't draw. You know, there's plenty of other artists that would have. I mean, Bouguereau would have a tight underdrawing, or Meissonier would have a tight underdrawing, or Fortuny would have a tight underdrawing. I've Menzel, which is so expressive. There's a little photo. Well, I mean, they took a photo, obviously, of this painting, but there's this reproduction of this painting that is inside a church that has like some of the altarpiece or some part solved at the top, and then the bottom, it's like all the construction lines of perspective that he needed in order to make that painting that you would have never thought. Like, you would see the construction underneath, but you can also see what the actual painting would have looked like up top. And I assure you that nobody would have ever imagined that he needed so much information in the bottom to do what he was solving up top, because up top felt so fresh and so reactive and so like direct painting that you would have never imagined that he needed like all this like skeleton of like drawing marks. And I'm not exaggerating. Could you look for that image, Danny? Just go Menzel church study or something like that. You'll see it. Nope, it's not a drawing. It's like a painting.
Espérame. Paintings me sale.
That one. Yeah, perfect.
¿La pongo?
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? And there's like I think there's who else? It has like this crazy underdrawing. I think there's an odalisque that who was this painter? He was an Orientalist painter, like a Spanish Orientalist or a French Orientalist. That has like the most ornate drawing underneath, but then the actual painting, it was like the freshest thing ever. So I don't know. Like, you can understand those things as rules, and in my case, I also have to deal with how I understand, my own drawing when I'm using it as construction, because my drawing is super flawed, but I don't care that it's flawed. I actually embrace, all the weirdness that my drawing has to offer, and all the disproportion and all the, kind of wonkiness that it just naturally possesses. But I love seeing those things when I go to paint. Like, for example, that I'm going to see all these, what I would have understood as mistakes. They're just like, they're there. They're super visible. But I like that. I don't know. I don't have an overarching philosophy for sure when I work. Like, something that affects every single bit of how I construct a painting, for example. I don't have that. And
so it's on screen. I'm sorry.
Oh,
for
thank
people
you,
to
Daniel
see it.
Lira. So the one thing I would say is, like, we appreciate, and particularly artists that are good teachers. I don't know how great of a teacher Sargent was. There's not like real record of him being like this this teacher that affected so many lives of other painters, like Merritt Chase was, for example, before him. Who was a good teacher at his time? I'm trying to think. Like, who was a really great painter, but also like a really good teacher? Because Merritt Chase is older than Sargent, so. But I'm guessing, like, who was teaching at that moment that, and in that sort of painting, that sort of like, naturalist, post-impressionist, type of painting, very European type of painting that Sargent did. I don't know. I know teachers afterwards, but I don't know at that moment. Was Abbey a teacher? Edwin Austin Abbey, did he teach? I don't know if he taught. I would have taken Edwin Austin Abbey before Sargent as a teacher. I don't know if he taught. Maybe not. Maybe he did.
Mm,
They all end up teaching.
no.
No.
I don't see it.
But yeah, but my point is that it's not as if, like, Sargent is this ridiculous teacher
No.
that everyone just understood as a teacher, and you don't see like the school of Sargent. You don't. He was too busy painting. He couldn't have been a teacher. But I don't know. I don't think that because it's Sargent, then it's like unchallenged. It's like impossible to challenge what he would say.
So Parting Mist was saying that drawing looks like it was done by hiring a perspectivist.
Yeah,
LOLs.
but isn't it
No
crazy
joke
that
about
it's like,
how intricate it is. Surprising.
no, isn't it crazy that it's Menzel?
Yeah.
It's the same person that would draw those, like would paint those or study those armors in gouache with like super like freehand.
Loose, yeah.
One of the best drafts people in like all of art history, I would say. Like nobody has used, well, not nobody, but he opted to direct his life to the study of things and to use like drawing and watercolor and gouache painting to the study of things, which I've always just admired profoundly, rather than just making art or art pieces, like big art pieces. And you would think that somebody that is that confident with his skill can just say, I'm just gonna paint this study of a church. Like I'm just gonna observe it. Like I don't have to find like my horizon line and my vanishing point and then just go and make all these like crazy, radial lines and but he did. For some reason he thought it was necessary. But it's probably also very telling why he left it. Why he maybe saw that drawing and was like, oh my god, this is gonna be boring.
Saint Gales está diciendo, también supongo que se trata de la perspectiva que tengas del dibujo, pues Harold Speed repite en su libro que, entre comillas, pintar es sinónimo de dibujar tan solo con la dificultad añadida del color, mientras que alguien como Menzel o Antonio López quizás veían el dibujo como el bloque esencial de la arquitectura de la pintura, que necesita todas sus piezas para funcionar.
Bueno, se asumen varias cosas ahí. No sé si Menzel quepa en eso. No sé, yo creo que cada persona, a menos de que sea como muy evidente a qué tipo de filosofía
Ata.
se suscriben.
¿Estás bien?
Sí, es que iba a decir
Se
adscribe,
atan.
entonces iba a decir adscriben y eso no es palabra, se suscriben.
Ata.
Si eso no
sí,
es...
adscrito.
Sí, ¿no es cierto?
Estar adscrito.
Entonces
sí,
se adscriben. Adscriben. Sí, entonces sí estaba bien mi instinto. Bueno, pues suscribir tampoco está mal.
No, sí, pero es que tu cerebro dijo como
Estoy bien, estoy mal.
o sea, estabas pensando
Pues
mientras.
Entonces siempre pienso.
No,
Siempre.
estabas pensando mientras decías otra cosa, por eso dije,
Sí.
¿estás bien? Que no sabía si me tocaba llamar a los de las
Emermédica,
momias.
sí. No tenemos la plata. No tenemos los 50,000. No, si uno no tiene claridad sobre a qué movimiento o a qué filosofía están adscritos, entonces es muy difícil como asumir ciertas cosas, como el valor o cómo entienden la naturaleza del dibujo, desde dónde la entienden. Uno puede como asumir cosas desde la obra, pero no sé si generalizar. A mí se me dificultaría un poco poner a Menzel y a Antonio López como en el mismo sitio. Se me hace que a mí por lo menos me arrojan a sitios distintísimos.
Sí.
Súper distintos. Pero entiendo lo que la persona está diciendo. Lo entiendo perfectamente.
A ver. Gav, so Katia Belly Loves You,
I belly love you.
was saying, just got on. Hola a todos, gorgeous drawing.
Thank you, Katia.
Catherine Peremsky was saying, I don't understand how you can make a drawing that you say is quote unquote super flawed look so right. I feel like I need somehow to figure out how to make my mistakes more believable. Maybe anatomy study?
Yeah, maybe therein lies the talent. What's that, Danny? What was the last comment?
Maybe anatomy study?
Studying anatomy? I never studied anatomy. I mean, I studied it when I was like a kid, when I was like a teenager, in order to do comic books. So I knew some anatomy, but I was very quickly turned off. Like, I guess it wasn't. When I see like Dan Thompson teaching anatomy, I think he's brutal. He's amazing. And I used brutal the bad way. I used it as we translated, like directly
Brutal,
translated into
yeah,
Spanish, which
like
is brutal, which
so
is like
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry about that. But Dan is fantastic. I mean, I would love to sit in on his classes and just like, his drawing is almost like listening to his like gears in his brain turn. So he's incredible. So I would 100% take somebody like Dan or Michael Grimaldi. Oh my God, Michael Grimaldi? Jesus Christ. He's like, if there's one person that you want to speak form with, and that is like enamored by form, turning, and structure, Michael Grimaldi. Like, he is incredible. Like, insanely talented artist. So I unfortunately didn't have people like that offering anatomy when I was studying. So when I would see the drawings that people would make in the anatomy drawing class, I would be like, oh, those are boring. And so I never took it. But I have looked at anatomy books all the time, always. So I don't know. And comic books. Like I said, honestly, I mean, if you like comic books, you're probably going to, you are going to get versions of anatomy and, sometimes heavily distorted versions of anatomy. I would say women in comic books still have big boobs and like tiny waists. And so it's still very sexualized, I would say. They're archetypes, as Alex Ross would say, and they have to feel powerful that way as bodies. But it's still always like, dudes in comic books, like superheroes, they still feel like they pose all the time, like they're flexing all the time. It's like, I'm gonna open a door, and it's like, it's like you're turning a knob, and every muscle in your body is tense. So that's the sort of anatomy that you see commonly in comic books. But as a very classical way of understanding anatomy, it works. It's a bridge, I think. So that's where I started. But I never formally learned anything, any anatomy. So I also have to say that.
Joshua Vega was saying David Finch says he learned all his anatomy through comics.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's very good, very talented.
Gaby Pérez dice, hola Nico y Dani, qué bonito que está quedando.
Muchas gracias.
Hola Gaby, ¿qué tal? So, where were we? Sergi Arts dice, estoy en mitad de un par de encargos y las ganas que tengo de pintar cosas que no sean los encargos están off the charts. Y unas caritas
Sergi,
como, no sé, como de queja, no sé cómo decirlo.
¿Qué, mi amor? ¿Qué fue eso?
¿Cómo le llamarías a esta carita, a este emoji? No, mi emoji de cara.
No, pero hazlo tú con la cara. No, ¿qué es eso? Te estás riendo. ¿Sabes qué? Te voy a momificar con esa cara.
Bueno, pues si sacas tus $50,000.
Y vamos a jugar rana.
Bueno, de pronto te sale más barato porque yo soy más chiquita, más bajita.
Sí, yo soy por ahí 8 gatos, tú eres 6, yo creo.
Bueno, y Sergi dice, debería pintar otras cosas mientras hago los encargos, me sentiría mal. Y una carita triste.
No, pero ¿y por qué está viendo los encargos como semejante sacrificio, Sergi? No, goces el encargo y cuando o sea, igual puede pintar lo que quiera.
Sí, pues o sea, el que
encargo,
sabe
sí.
el manejo de su tiempo es solo Sergi.
Bueno,
o sea, yo creo que hay
pena.
gente que dice, no.
No, qué pena, ya me disculpé,
Que
linda.
sí, que te calles. No, yo creo que uno a veces sabe cuándo tiene que primero terminar eso que como lo que le está costando hacer y luego sí pintar lo que uno quiere o luego sí hacer lo que uno quiere
Bueno,
o si
sí,
uno necesita como un respirito entre y
sí,
después continuar. Eso sí.
sí, es verdad.
Eh,
Entonces termine
Max,
rápido, Sergi. ¿Y es que están tan aburridos o qué? ¿Qué está haciendo?
Maxim, no, pero ahorita va y dice y alguien como,
No, pues
oiga, yo
no
soy
va a
el
decir,
de
no,
este encargo.
estoy pintando a la señora Maritza, que es vieja, pero la
Que,
tengo que hacer joven, pero
sí,
qué
porque
mamera.
es que
Nunca he
supuestamente
editado
ahora ella
tantas
quiere
arrugas.
momificarse
Sí,
tomando té.
ella se ve 15
Entonces,
kilos más flaca, entonces no sé cómo hacer eso. No,
Maximiliano
no echa el
Romaldi
agua a doña Maritza.
dice, ¿leíste el libro A la prima de Richard Schmidt?
Sí,
Y si es así, ¿qué tal te pareció?
muy bueno. Muy, muy útil. En, en ese momento de mi vida lo necesité mucho. Además que está escrito como era Schmidt, que él es como muy jovial. O sea, no,
Porque hiciste
jaja,
jovial,
como jovial,
jovial.
jovial. Me puedes momificar en mi
No,
gesto
sí, así,
jovial.
jovial,
Jovial.
jovial. No,
Em,
saco el audio de acá.
sí. No, pero es muy bueno. Yo siempre lo recomiendo. Es muy, muy buen libro. Es costoso, pero siempre lo recomiendo.
Ah, Gaby dice, vengo a repetir por vez como muchos números. O sea,
Sí,
un
señora
millón
Gaby.
232.544.300. Me lo inventé, pero...
Ajá, uy, pero estuvo re específico ese número que te
Que la
inventaste.
pintura del rey con coronita quedó demasiado.
Ay,
Y un
muchas
corazón.
gracias, Gaby.
Sí, vimos a Gaby
Sí, estaba,
diciendo
su-
que la quería comprar.
uy, muy querida por eso
Sí, no. Y
también, Gaby.
Cristian diciéndole que cómo se le ocurre, que se enfoque.
Gaby, ¿le puedo decir una cosa? Mire, por mi papá que está en el cielo, por mis hijos, como para que sepa que le voy a hablar la verdad. O sea, esa pintura yo pensé, no, porque nace a partir de unos ejercicios que estamos haciendo en un curso que ofrecemos y son súper específicos los ejercicios. Y pues entonces yo ya había hecho uno de esos ejercicios y para el otro, que pues termina siendo esa imagen, yo dije, no, voy a pintar de la imaginación, pero era con base como en unas notas de color, de unos campos de color de unas pinturas súper abstractas. Entonces yo pues puse los colores y empecé a mover cosas y formitas y entonces no sé, esa imagen empezó a como a aparecer y me comprometí como con esas formas y ya. Y después como que me lo gocé el resto ahí haciéndolo específico y ya. Pero yo le voy a ser sincero, Gaby, yo decía, no, pues esta pintura como no es... La gente normalmente tiene expectativas de qué es lo que hace uno y el mercado que nosotros tenemos pues responde más ante unas imágenes que otras, eso es súper normal. Y entonces yo decía, no, pues esta imagen no se va a vender. Y en un momento dije, se la voy a regalar a Gaby. O sea, porque no, o sea, no
Pero
me
ahora le
quita
vas a
nada.
decir eso y ya se vendió. ¿Para qué
Lo
le
malo, Gaby, es que
dices?
dije, se la voy a regalar a Gaby. Y dije, no, pues les doy un regalo de matrimonio y les regalo esta pintura y se me hace bonita y se me
No,
hace
pero
chévere,
Gaby,
que es como
perdón.
la única pintura
No,
que
yo sí
Gaby me ha
salgo en
dicho que le
defensa de
gusta.
Gaby
En defensa, iba a
y
ser
le
algo
digo,
bonito.
ibas por eso y
Pues
le
ya
estás
no puedo.
diciendo que esa pintura que le
Y
encantó ya
Gaby,
se vendió.
y Gaby,
Entonces,
y estaba como comprometiéndome con ese pensamiento y se vendió la pintura.
no, pues yo de Gaby me desuscribo.
Pero Lindita, la
Es como yo
intención,
quería hacer esto tan bonito, pero ya no lo voy a hacer.
eso,
Mira, jajaja, Nicolás, me rompes el corazón. Sí.
no, yo sé,
¿Para qué
pero
cuenta?
pues
Es
porque
como,
iba a pasar, genuinamente iba a pasar. Y pues cuando ya dije, bueno, voy a hacer esto, pues se vendió. También eso es Dios diciendo, no, no se lo dé.
y Gaby dice, obvio se iba a vender, jajaja, la pintura más bonita que ha hecho.
Muchas gracias, muy, muy, muy amable de verdad. Pero bueno, ese hubiera sido nuestro regalo.
Que ya no es.
Que no lo disfruten.
Sí,
Que lo disfruten, pero no.
no sé. Dane Schumacher was saying, weird question.
Oh, I love these.
I watched a
Yes.
documentary about Pablo Escobar's hippos that
Okay.
got loose from Hacienda Nápoles.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
he was
This is a
running,
very. This is something that we all know.
yeah.
Every Colombian can speak about these hippos. Hippos. So
Well, and all the struggles that
yeah,
have happened
the
because
Magdalena
of
hippos.
and the attacks. Of
Yeah,
the
no, this is
hippos,
terrible. This is
so-
a tragedy, by
Yeah.
the way. Not to be taken lightly.
When he was running, it seemed like it was a common to visit.
What? It was.
When the Hacienda Nápoles was running,
Oh, Common?
It seemed
No.
like it was common to visit.
No,
Did anyone
no.
in the chat visit?
No.
Because
It
there
was
was a park open.
yeah, but
too.
no. Yeah, but no. It wasn't common to go there.
Well, now, well,
It wasn't. No. I promise you that
no, well,
nobody you know, and nobody I know, and nobody that people that I know, nobody went there. The only,
well, to be honest, now
very
it's
locals.
yeah, but now it's open again.
I
They
haven't-
reopened it, yeah, and it's called Hacienda Nápoles too. And I know that they only have one of the hippos with the name of a female, like I don't know, like Camila, Lorena. Some no,
Oh,
but yeah, I think it's reopened now.
I have no idea.
I
I
know.
just think everything about that is so like absurd that I wouldn't, even if it's like run by local government or something.
That's how
I
it
would
is.
never.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go there. I would never even. I wouldn't give a single dime to that place.
Yeah, they have Vanessa, the name of the hippo. That's why I told you it's like a very
Yeah.
yeah, and they have more animals. But no, I've never been there.
No.
And yeah, you've never been
And
there.
at the time, never. Like, I don't think I ever met anyone that said when I was young, because this would have happened when I was like, let's say
Let me-
15 around. And no, this was not like a thing that people would visit. Maybe people from close over there. I don't know. Maybe they would, but no.
Let me see.
But this is just to reiterate, it like everything that Escobar did can be turned into like this sort of, oh my god, like what an amazing, like this is so crazy, and it's kind of like funny, but it's not funny. It was never funny. Like he was a horrendous murderer, and stuff like this, that even in death he like, I mean, aside from like the countless deaths that he was responsible for, aside from perpetuating our country as a like drug-ridden, war-ridden country, so aside from things that are just objectively horrendous, think without he also had like an environmental impact. Like imagine that. You fuck up society, but you also want to mess like the environment, like the balance of the environment, by introducing species that are not native, but that obviously, because we're in the equator, and the like African equator is very, it's very akin to like American equator. The things that grow in Africa, they can grow here. Like we have grass here that's African, that was brought from Africa, but we can, every single species I feel of animals that is in Africa could probably be put here, and they can flourish. And that happened with hippos, which is just like insane, because they started reproducing, and now they are in the Magdalena Bank, and because they don't understand like where they are claiming land. They're understanding land, like certain lands, as their own, and they are highly territorial. But those lands that they are, understanding as their own, they are not theirs. Like there's human beings, there's like, towns there, and there's human beings there. So what happens is like there has been attacks, hippo attacks, and they have killed human beings. So, I mean, there's nothing funny about that. Like nothing about that is remotely funny. And it has gotten so out of hand that there's so many hippos now that they can't even know where they are exactly, or how many of there are, in alongside the Magdalena, that it's just, again, like an environmental disaster. It's horrendous what what he caused. So it's just like that's what happens when this kind of like unhinged ego with money and power that comes from drugs they feel like they can, they own the planet. They feel like they can do just about anything they want because the only obstacle to doing anything in life seems to be money. But if you have all the money that you need, that you'll ever need, then you can do anything. So yeah, I am super not into the glorifying of these characters, of these like no. I'm not saying, yeah, Danny's saying like I'm not saying you are like you specifically, but usually these sort of documentaries or and certainly the series, like the miniseries, they do glorify like these characters. They turn them into characters when in fact they were actually just, psychopaths. They were psychopaths. So it's crazy to me that there can be so much fascination with a psychopath. It just doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't make sense. So instead of we being a society that's occupied with thinking about what like cool people do, no, we're fascinated by what, these horrendous assassins do. That's very cute. So yeah, no, I don't. Maybe I'm just like buzzkill here with this, but I just don't entertain those things. I just don't. I've never liked those like Narcos miniseries and stuff like. I've never liked them. I just don't. I don't know.
So, Parting Mist was saying, I really like his painting, and he seems to be a very visually oriented painter as opposed to a construction oriented painter. And Parting Mist was saying, invasive species really just means humans don't want that one here. No. No. I think it has to do more because of, it's because they're saying that the species that people say that are not like that they are invasive is because people don't want them.
Oh
there,
no, we
and I
don't have
think,
native hippos
no,
in
that's
South
why.
America.
Yeah. So I think
Hippos
that
are only native to
the problem is not with
Africa.
the people. The problem is with a lot of species
Oh yeah, no.
that suffer because of that
Yeah, this is
species
a
being introduced
completely exogenous
artificially.
species to our country,
Yes.
being brought here in like a black market in God knows how. Because how the hell do you transport a hippo and bring it to a zoo, to an illegal, that was just his private zoo? Like a hippo. I think it was 4 hippos initially that he brought.
Yeah, now it's like 500.
Oh, I don't even know how
check.
many of them there are. But yeah, no. This is not. We don't have hippos here. Like this is why this is so absurd. Like there are countries that are like the ecosystems are completely messed up because they introduced like a species of fish. Like one species of fish.
Yeah,
and it just eats everything that's around. And it
so
kills
that's
every
the
other
problem.
species.
Yeah.
And so this is, and sadly,
it's not because
this
humans
is not
don't
like,
want
them
there.
No.
It's because they can, they create an unbalance in the ecosystem.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did. He artificially made this. So no, that's what makes it horrendous.
So I was reading. Let me check how many hippos.
I don't know if we objectively know. I don't think so.
3 hippos.
So those are the ones that he brought.
Yeah.
That he's like smuggled into the country.
Oh no. So sorry. 3 female and 1 male.
There we go.
So
4.
4. Yeah.
Okay.
And nowadays. So this is an article from 2022.
Yeah.
And they say that they have counted, like they know about 150 hippos.
Fuck me.
Only in the Magdalena River.
I mean, this was faster than like Adam and Eve.
Yeah, because also I think it's because of the. Let me check, because I think someone was talking about that. Let me see who was saying that. So Dane Schumacher was saying Jeff Acuff, because Jeff was saying, so did all these wild hippos descended from Escobar's 4 hippos?
Yeah.
And then Schumacher was saying, Jeff, their population bloomed because there isn't the dry season that they typically experience in their native habitat. That causes them to stop breeding until the wet season returns. So, yeah, that's why it's a species that's not supposed to be here.
And
'Cause
nobody.
they just like breed and breed and breed.
Yeah, and I
breed.
wonder if like leopards or lions or like a pack of hyenas, if maybe, I don't think they control the hippo population,
No.
but hippos are hunted.
But I don't know here if they have like.
They don't have predators. That's
No.
the thing. Also,
Yeah.
like aside from some sort of population control that can be measured by some predators in Africa, we don't have anything like that here. Like that thing is like the king of the Magdalena.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing there that is threatening them. So
Yeah, because also I'm seeing here. So I'm gonna do like a translation as I read. So maybe it's gonna sound funky, but I'm trying my best.
no.
So it says that some experts refer to the hippos like biological engineers, which means that because of their big size and the things they need for food, they're able to change the whole ecosystem where they are,
What?
which is going to change directly not only the flowers, but the animals and the aquatic fauna and flora. I don't know how, like
Fauna and flora.
fauna and
Yeah.
flora, yeah.
Oh, so they're like terraforming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Again.
And it says it also changes and affects drastically the life and the people around where they live.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We as a country have 100% noticed that.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. Again, a person, a human being, a single human being that caused like so so much destruction, in his path, wasn't happy with just, destroying our own species, with the introduction of drugs and opening drug markets and just the assassination of civilians. No. He was fine with like fucking up the environment, like completely messing with the ecosystem just because he could.
So parting
Just
mist,
well, I don't think he knew he could, but just because he was so ignorant about it, but it was just like a whim. It was just like, I want to do this.
so parting mist was saying, I mean, humans are the one running around deciding what is good and not good in a given area. So it's really just us saying we don't like this result. We try to make it sound objectively good or bad. No, because to start,
What?
I mean,
No,
we have to start with the fact that it was a human who decided they wanted hippos in their house.
It was a psychopath, like assassin.
Yeah.
It was like I don't know how many deaths are attributed to him.
I mean, even yesterday I went because I had an appointment in a place called Centro 93, which is a mall that has some offices here,
Yeah.
which was the last attack. He bombed that place
Yeah.
in 96, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. No, in 97
No.
maybe.
No, I think before that.
No.
But anyways, yeah, no,
So-
there's like a measurable,
Yeah.
it's quantifiable, objectively quantifiable, how much of like a horrendous human being he was. This is objectively one of the worst people that has been on this earth.
Oh yeah. 1993.
Yeah. So no, I'm sorry. I don't know if you were referring to like open to interpretation as what happened with the hippos or as what he did as a human being. Like, oh no, I'm sorry, but no. This is just an evil incarnate human being. So I'm sorry. No, that I won't even like. I won't even debate that. I'm sorry about that, but like that wouldn't be open for debate to me, and I know that wouldn't be open for debate to millions of Colombians that suffered through the things that he did. So
Jeff
no.
Acuff was saying 4,000 deaths attributed to Escobar. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm sorry, but no. I mean, that is like genocide. So I'm sorry, no. Like one person, we're not talking about a country's, like the leader of armed forces or something like that, like the leader of a country that's invading other countries. We are talking about a single person, had nothing to do with government. And, all he cared about was, the drug market, that wanted to kill people that weren't like, that wouldn't agree with what he was doing. So, no, I'm sorry. No, sorry. That's like I tend to be open about tons of stuff. No, this is where I would draw the line. Yeah. No.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, they were just saying that. I guess what their argument goes to is about a species being invasive or not. But I feel that, I mean, if we're having a conversation about an invasive species that was brought from like their native place because a killer wanted to do it because they feel they were powerful enough. I think the conversation is not
Oh yeah.
if
No,
the
this is not.
species is or not. No. I'm telling them. I'm telling
Yeah, and
like
I'm not saying
everyone.
like I don't think in anything that we've said we say that it's the hippo's fault. Like the hippos,
No.
like the hippos, like they were just brought here, and they're just as a species they're trying to make it as they're trying to make it. They're trying just to be alive, but yeah, no, the irrational species in all of this would have been us as human beings, and him being the worst representation of us. But yeah, I just maybe I got defensive, but because I don't know if they were referring to Escobar, but nothing about Escobar is like I'll entertain that conversation. Nothing like with nobody, nothing. I don't care how people have seen like, oh, but I saw this movie that said that nothing. No, I'm sorry. Like a homicidal maniac, like a psychopath. That's what that dude was.
So Catherine Peramsky was saying, I can't understand when singular people become so unstoppable, even when they are responsible for such chaos and destruction. I'm thinking of Putin right now. Dane Schumacher was saying, in the documentary they made, it seemed like everyone in Colombia was going there as a child on family trips, which seemed absurd to me.
No, well,
thanks for giving me a realistic.
trust me, no. No, this was not like, a zoo that people go like, oh, there's a zoo. No, there's, like I said, maybe some, because the saddest thing was, and he, with the drug money, he would help smaller towns that would be overlooked by the government
Grow.
Yeah, so it is well known that he would make schools, and he would build hospitals for people, and that's why there are poor, like there are pockets of like very poor towns that still remember him fondly, because what they saw in him was just somebody that was paying attention to them when the government didn't. I would think that the people that went there would have to be, part of these little pockets, but no. Like the people that would, just regular working people that would live in like, bigger cities. And I'm not saying that because we, live in bigger cities, then we have like a better idea, but that could contextualize that place a little bit more. No, nobody would go. No, nobody would go there. Nobody. That's like crazy. Like I told you, I don't think I know of anyone close to my life when I was growing up, anyone that ever went there. I don't think I ever heard. My father was a vet. He was like, he knew every, like he dealt with cattle. So it's not like a vet that, fixes a dog or a cat or like a, like a goldfish. But no. He actually dealt with cattle. So he went through all of Colombia, like all of it. He traveled through all of it. And never in my life I heard him speak about that place. Never, ever, ever. Never mentioned it. Never talked to us about going or entertaining going there. Never. It was just. It just wasn't. It's not a place that you would go. Like, there's nothing redeemable about this character. So even when he was alive, even the short little time of his life that he bought, votes so that he could try and become a senator, which was insane. And it speaks more about how much he could buy people off and how corrupt he was and the wave of corruption that will follow him. So as much as he tried to like validate who he was never part of society. Like, the law-abiding society, just, regular human beings. He was never, ever, ever a part of our society. Never. Never. So, yeah. Yeah, sadly, they paint him as somebody who was charming in a very dark way. But that is the farthest thing from the truth. Like, again, just a homicidal psychopath. That's what he was, period. Like, don't try to find, it's almost like trying to find dimensions or like facets to like Manson, No, they're just psychopaths, period. Like, you can try to understand why they're psychopaths and study them, I guess, but that doesn't make them charming, or there's nothing about that. It's just like this power-driven, horrendous human being, and that's it. That's all it is, period. I wanted to
Jeff
fit...
Acuff was saying it's a morbid day on OPO.
Oh, yeah, we started... Let's go back to mummy talk. Yeah, mummy talk was better, I feel.
You started what?
I thought I could fit the arms here, but I did something that I usually do, which is I made the hands way bigger than they're supposed to be, but it's because I love hands. So I, as soon as I made them bigger, I realized, those arms are going to look ridiculous with these like bigger hands if they're that short. And now I have to deal with the problem that they're going to crop. Like, I have to crop these arms, which is not something that I would have wanted to do. But I think I have to. Can you show me how it looks? Because I can't see how it looks. Like, if the elbow was here, if I was like desperately, this is a little too desperate, I feel.
Like cutting it?
Yeah, if I was desperately trying to make them fit, that doesn't look right, does it? Like, that, isn't that too short for a forearm? For that figure? I just can't see it well enough.
Look, I think it's easier if I do this. Oh, wait.
I think it's too short. Yeah. And
then it is short, but I don't think it's...
Yeah, I don't like it.
That,
no.
Like, annoying.
Yeah, but it is annoying me. No, so let's do this. And even though this is terrible, we'll try to make it work. I think I have an idea how to make it work. I can actually do like a fadeaway. I've been looking at Kobe Whitmore, who's like an amazing illustrator. And he was very famous with a fadeaway girl. Mm-hmm. And I can make this fade into the space, like from over here. Just have all of that fade and then try to find it here with like a cast shadow. And maybe that can be interesting. And I don't have to...
So Jeff Acuff was saying too short relative to the hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. So.
Gaby Pérez dice, estoy muy feliz viéndolos discutir y dibujar, pero tengo que irme a almorzar. Se ve muy cortito porque no lo deja salir a los dos del papel.
Sí, ya tomamos esa decisión. Ya.
Cacaíto dice, hoy los dejaré para ir a almorzar. Besos, bye, besos a Chily.
No, nosotros también.
No nos antojen. que yo estoy acá,
¿Qué horas son?
que
Lindita?
muerdo el micrófono, la 1:02.
Bueno, ya hagamos 2 minutos más y ya.
No,
y
no,
ya
no, pero no
terminamos.
te estoy afanando, ¿no?
Lindita, yo he tenido como que orinar desde que nos sentamos, desde que dijiste
Pero ahí
hello,
si quieres ahí te puedes salir.
Nicolito.
Ahí te puedes salir,
No,
mira.
ya, ¿qué importa?
O ya te orinaste.
No, ya me dañé la vejiga. Ya estoy 100% seguro que o sea, el daño es irreparable.
Ay, no. ¿Y por qué no entraste antes?
Porque soy un huevón.
No, a mí me pasa, como
un
que uno
idiota.
dice, no, no, no,
soy
no
un idiota.
tengo. Y uno sale de la
No,
casa
soy
y
un
es
idiota.
vida, hijo de madre.
Además, hubiera sabido que 5 minutos antes tomarme esto
Yo también,
de
pero
empezar no era
sí.
la mejor idea, pero
Y además
bueno.
el frío, está haciendo bastante frío,
No,
esto
no,
no
no,
ayuda.
no. Mira, esta mano no he hecho sino agarrarme el pipí.
Nicolás,
Como un niño de 5
mamá.
años. Como un niño de 5 años no he hecho sino agarrarme el pipí con esta. Por eso es que no han visto esta mano. Me estoy apretando el pipí. Desde hace por lo menos 1:40. Estoy apretándome el pipí. Bueno, con ese comentario, Danielita, yo creo que nos vamos.
Listo, súper.
Nos
Ya
vamos
sé que vamos a
amañando.
almorzar.
¿Tú ya sabes?
Sí,
¿Me lo estás imponiendo o...?
sí, siempre.
No, no.
Entonces, pues buenísimo. No, estoy pensando que algo cerquita que podamos conseguir.
Ajá.
Entonces, muchas gracias a todos. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
If you're new here,
Yeah,
maybe you could consider joining us by
for some mummy
subscribing.
talk.
Mommy talk. Talk.
Talk?
Mommy
I don't
talk.
know.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what we have here.
So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes.
And we do have a webpage, ourpaintedlives.com. Go check it out.
Yes.
And we do have Instagrams.
Yes.
And we have TikTok, ourpaintedlives.com.
Yeah.
What? No, ourpaintedlives.
What?
Not .com. I said TikTok and .com. So,
Yeah,
and Instagram is Nicolas Uribeb
yeah.
and Daniela OCMP. So,
OCMP. Thank you for putting that thought in my
OCMP.
brain. Now I have to go.
oh yeah, OCMP.
No.
MP.
Okay, there's a puddle here.
Bye everyone.
Our puddled